The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Monday, April 19th, 2021, years after the year zero. This sports show begins right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop, whether you're listening on SiriusXM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, or at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We can't thank you enough. After I said Mad Dog Sports Radio there, you heard no barking. That's because the Toxic Table is not in studio today. The Toxic Table was potentially at a COVID super spreader festival this weekend, celebrating Connor's birthday. Happy birthday, Connor. I was not invited to the party. Diggs was out of town, so we are the only two that were potentially not at an event that had pictures all over the place with no masks, no distancing, no nothing, and I'm currently in a COVID protocol. Now, I am in a protocol, so we got to make sure that they're all right for at least a day or two. Then we'll be able to hopefully have them back. We'll see what happens going forward, and also, you know, just like we have for the last 14 months of this entire thing, I think we've managed the old Uncle COVID situation pretty well, although I was out of a COVID protocol in between my run of NXT things and then now back into SmackDown. I'm going to have to get tested every single week, so I'm not here to have an argument on whether or not you think you're going to die from COVID. Okay, that's immediately what people are going to do. It's whatever the case. You think you're going to die, cool. If you don't think you're going to die, it's cool. I can't get it because I can't get a COVID positive test, or I won't be able to do something that I've been dreaming about doing my entire life, which is what I got to do on Friday, which I am so thankful for. On Friday, in the Thunderdome in Tampa Bay, Florida, I got a chance to be a full-time commentator alongside the greatest of all time in Michael Cole. Now, a lot of people will say there was a good rib that happened immediately upon SmackDown beginning Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox, which is Twitter shut down.
It did.
Twitter just absolutely shut down, stopped working. Twitter, 5 minutes into the show, just stopped working. Now, I guess my account was able to tweet videos out, which shout out to Nikki Tweets, who was doing that while I'm live. A lot of people were tweeting me, oh, you're tweeting out videos of yourself live while you're on the air. I was not, okay? I'm not that talented. It was actually old Nikki Tweets up there. He was tweeting them out, and then he texted me and was like, hey, we could tweet out things, but we can't see anything that's going on. I'm like, what do you mean? And it was in the middle of the show, so I had no idea what was going on. So then it wasn't until after the show, whenever I was, flying back to Indianapolis, Indiana, kind of taking it all in. Normally, that's a time for me to scour the internet, kind of see what everybody's thinking. Twitter was down, just completely broken for me all weekend. So I didn't have a chance to really see how people thought I did, which I take into very serious consideration on how I act. But I will be able to give you some of my thoughts on how I thought it went. The day was awesome. We left the FanDuel Beach House, drove up to the Yuengling Center, went in there, kind of walked around, got a chance to chit-chat with Michael Cole and also an asshole named Baron Corbin, who's down there, who I used to be teammates with. Guy slept on my couch at one point.
He's wearing a dumb shirt, too.
He was wearing a dumb shirt, and he was wearing sweatpants that he was trying to act as if they were jeans. He might as well have been in his goddamn pajamas out there looking like a slob talking to me.
Florida cool.
Jester?
Yeah, he is a bum. He's no longer the court jester. No, he's not that. He's not the king either. He's the bum from Florida sitting on the side of the show there. But I got a chance to chat and talk to everybody. It was very cool. Got a chance to get my makeup done. All right, you're not attractive, need the makeup done. By the way, the spray tan that I was having cook on Friday during the show, it has settled in, and it is a lot deeper now than it was on Friday. Food for thought going forward, cannot get spray tan same day of needing of spray tan is where I'm learning.
Do they have special model cameras for like the modeling headshots that you guys did beforehand? Or?
At Tone Diggs brings me to my next point. I then went up to a still shot area, which had 40 lights and maybe the nicest camera I'd ever seen in my entire life. Eric No Knees is the guy's name, and he goes, "Hey, you want to get some photos for the night or whatever?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." I don't know how to work this whole thing. I've only done, I think, 2 photo shoots ever. The one happened out here, and it's always the same photo you see of me pointing at my chest, smiling. That's because that's the only like real professional photos we have. So I start doing the rock poses that I've seen on Instagram, the influencer poses. I start hitting those things. I go look on the computer, and he goes, "How do you feel about these?" I'm like, "That's the best I've ever looked in my entire life. Thank you so much." The filter was already built in the photography. So then, obviously, as we're about to leave, Foxy forces this guy to take some photos of him. Foxy's like, "Hey, you got nothing going on. Anyway, you can take some photos of me." Foxy gets some photos done. That was a lot of fun, right, Foxy?
That was awesome. Yours looked a lot better than mine.
No, Foxy is a model full time. And at this point, I had already had makeup
kids,
on.
yeah.
So I think the light, changed a little bit. But then I cut my hair. Then I had to go do Spaces with Aaron Rodgers, which was originally going to be, I think, for 5-ish, went to 6-ish. We did a Spaces for 25 minutes. We talked about his last day hosting Jeopardy. Then that wraps up. I walk into a meeting, shake a hand real quick, meet somebody that I'd never met before, go to the thing, show starts. So we're talking about there was no real sit down. Hey, expect this. I had no idea what was going to happen all night. No clue. I do believe that is the plan going forward to just keep me completely out of the loop. And if so, I had an absolute blast. I do not think I was anywhere near where I can get to as a commentator for professional wrestling. I used a lot of the words a couple of times over and over. I was scared to have too much bass in my voice because I didn't want people to think I was trying to dominate the call or anything like that, but sometimes I sounded a little bit too soft. The standing, I thought was natural instinct was for me to stand when something happened. I guess a lot of people did enjoy that. I appreciate that because that was potentially something that could get me into some shit. A lot of people say like, you need to stay so we can... The clip of us coming back to the 2 shot of me standing, him sitting, and me kind of being caught in a situation where I'm like, well, I don't know if I should stand or sit right now. That was, one of those kind of ad-lib moments that pop up that is incredible. So I had a blast. I think I stunk, but I have a chance to get better. I enjoyed it. I'm very thankful to all the people at the WWE and to anybody that happened to tune in. I couldn't see your Twitter because mine was broke. At Tone Diggs, weekend in Cincinnati. How are you doing, pal?
Yeah, so I went to Cincinnati. So I just relived or just was made aware of how hectic your Friday was. When I got to Cincinnati, though, and I saw that you were on Spaces with Rodgers, I don't know, an hour and a half before you were supposed to go live for SmackDown.
Bingo.
And then I also heard the interview with Cole where you were missing meetings for that. And I was a fucking wild move to just go in there on your first SmackDown Friday and just go for it. Like, just wing it. It seemed like it was wing. And how many people at SmackDown knew before the announcement?
Nobody. So it was very tight. It was unbelievable how tight this was kept. This entire office knew, never got out for like a week or so before, I think. That's a long time in the internet, by the way, a week. In the original announcement, and Foxy will have a vlog that comes out, what day?
Tomorrow.
A vlog will come out tomorrow, but behind the scenes. The original announcement was going to come out Thursday night. It was going to come out Thursday night. We're going to announce this thing Thursday night because had to go get a COVID test and everything. And they figured if we didn't announce it by the time I go get COVID test, somebody could potentially leak it or whatever. It was like, okay, we'll go out Thursday night. Then on Thursday, something happened in the WWE that none of us knew about. It was like, this does not feel like the right move here. So we actually delay it, get COVID tested, delay it. And it's like, there's no way I wake up tomorrow morning and there isn't somebody somewhere with something, and we were able to break it. Very thankful for all the parties involved, and so incredibly lucky to be able to do that thing week in, week out.
Can I ask how the interaction was with the big man?
See, he wasn't there.
Oh.
Vince wasn't there. I know this is a big deal. A lot of people, because once my Twitter came back to life on Sunday, I was able to see some things that people said, and all anybody was saying is, can't wait to hear what he becomes whenever Vince is in his ear, when Vince is in his ear or whatever. And I had to talk about this on Busted Open Radio. I do believe I kind of get a misperception about me is that I'm not coachable or something like that. Okay, or that I don't like whenever people, potentially say things. It's not, that I'm not. Rich Rodriguez was my coach. He might as well have been Bear Bryant whenever he was coaching West Virginia. I don't know what he's like now, but I enjoy getting coached, actually. If I get coached by somebody I respect, and if I appreciate what that person is saying or how they're saying it to me, or if it makes sense and it relates to me, I can appreciate, because there's a lot of people giving out a lot of advice unwarranted these days when they shouldn't be giving out advice. And there's some people that have done that to me, and I'm like, hey, fuck you, pal. Yeah. I'm not asking you for advice or whatever. So that has happened at a couple of different situations. And a lot of people assume because Michael Cole got mad at me for wearing shorts, my shorts tuxedo, that I don't like coaching because he wanted to do that. It was like, no, what I got mad about is I was sitting there for 6 hours dressed like that. And he was punking me out in front of Dave Bautista and Vince McMahon. And I'm like, yo, there is ways to go about this. The way you're doing this is how I like it. So I actually enjoy being coached up. It's why Mitt is actually here, because the way Tom McMahon, who was a guy who was like pretty much a coach, I enjoy getting coached. I do. I am a little bit like, I need to know why, and it has to come from somebody that I would be seeking advice from. That is a pretty big thing. Vince McMahon is somebody who, if he was to say something to me, no matter how he says it, this is a self-made billionaire that turned something into from a local situation to a worldwide phenomenon. So a lot of people on the internet are like, oh, he's not going to be able to handle Vince McMahon the way Vince McMahon talks to him. It's like, if you talk to me the way Vince McMahon talked to me, I'd smack you in the mouth at Boner Garage 124. Okay, but it's fucking Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? And also, there's a lot of people at that WWE, especially people that I met on Friday that maybe I hadn't met before or whatever. There's a lot of people over there that if they have advice or something to tell me or something to, hey, think about this, they created that business. So I'm going to listen to these people. Now, there was a bunch of blogs about how they're going to try not to overproduce me and all that shit. It's like, I am 33 years old. I want to let everybody know. I have not changed. I will not change. To my own detriment, by the way. I will not change. But I am very, very open to when people give me critiques on what they think will be better. And I'm like, you know what? Right. 100% right. Let's go ahead and do it. I do that every single day. I'll do that on Twitter, by the way. People will say something. I'm like, yeah, valid. That's actually a valid point right there. I'll do that. So I think that narrative is something that I don't appreciate about me, because I feel like it's the opposite. It just depends on who's doing the coaching. In this particular world, I don't get a chance to experience old VKM. You're hired. Until Friday or whatever. And I'm very excited about it.
That was awesome. And to your point there, as far as the coaching, that's how 99.9% of every single human being on this planet is. Like, if you respect someone and you know that they know more about you than the thing, like, you're going to let them help you be a better person or be better at what you're doing versus some fucking douchebag off the street.
Yeah. Well, it's not just some douchebag. Maybe it's somebody who's in a pretty good position, in a pretty powerful position at a company that I just think is a bad company. You know what I mean? Like I think I hear what you're saying. But I also know your resume of who you've hired, who you've put where, how they've done, how they are doing. I know exactly what you've done. So don't come talk to me as if I'm some idiot, because I know some stuff about you as well. It's just, you know what I mean? It's one of those situations. And I think that has been something where there's only been a few times where this situation has popped up. But I think those people have told people like, oh, he doesn't like being told whatever. It's like, well, he doesn't like being told from fucking idiots. And what's the Instagram influencer, or all these influencers started posting there for a little bit, the life coaches, the life gurus. They're
Gary
like,
V.
He was probably one of them, which, by the way, he is the guru. Don't seek advice from, don't listen to advice. Don't be an ass. Don't
be deterred by criticism
from
of someone you wouldn't seek advice
from. Yes, there it is. Hey, you've seen it too.
Yeah.
You saw the meme too.
Yeah, live with Gary.
Yeah, it's literally, I don't know if it's just Gary that's done that, by the way. That's like all of them. That's kind of been a narrative about me, I think. And I want to let everybody know that Vincent Kennedy McMahon, if I could talk to him for 10 hours and get information on him, I would. Now, that's not how it's going to go. He's probably going to be yelling at me and saying that I'm potentially doing something that's affecting his show, and I'm going to digest that. Hopefully, one of my most natural reactions in those situations is to go, oh, geez, okay. You know what I mean? But I can't do that because I have a microphone in my... So there will be some sort of adjustment, but what I'm saying is, if Vincent Kennedy McMahon's talking to me, I'm cool. I feel I will listen to Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
The wildest thing, Pat, like, I spent my formative years, if you will, professionally around Vince, 11 years around Vince. And the cool thing about him is that outside of having a direct approach, he's also got a very Mr. Miyagi-like approach where you think you're learning how to sand the floor, but you're learning a couple things in there that you never even realized until you truly pay attention and apply the shit.
Well, I talked to Jim Irsay. So I got to talk to Jim Irsay for an hour and a half, and I told him about my retirement or whatever. I was retiring. And he, wanted to talk to me face to face and have a conversation. And Jim Irsay has always been judged for a lot of reasons. He has battled his demons, and then obviously he's been caught up. And then when he talks, a lot of people think, oh, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. He seems a little flighty or whatever. I got a chance to sit down and talk to him whenever I told him I was going to retire for like an hour and a half or whatever. And the words in between his words were telling me some sage advice that I didn't even, like he'll put out a tweet and everybody's like, oh, the old billionaires lost it again. It's like, no, reread that. Okay, there is a message coming through there at some point that you just have to know. And if somebody's a billionaire, I am 100% willing to listen. Now, that billionaire has the same exact amount of opportunity for me to say, okay, yeah, I'm not listening to this fucking person ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're the same. But normally, there's a reason why people are in a position there, and you just try to learn as much as you can. And I've respected and appreciated a lot of coaches throughout my life. So whenever that was kind of making its way around about coaching or producing or whatever, it's like, man, I'm cool with being coach. It's just like, it can't be stupid. Like, I will be like, nope, that doesn't work. Hey, I've already tried that. We're not doing that again. Can't do it. Won't do it. Anyways, I loved it. I had the time of my life. I'm very thankful. We'll be back down there on Friday. And shout out to WWE and for Michael Cole for carrying me through that entire thing. Now, there's some things going on in the sporting world, Tone. And we will be joined by a British man. To talk about it. Now, we do have Gumpy. Gumpy was also at the Super Spreading event, so he cannot be in this glass cage of emotions here. Hope he is also okay, by the way. Hope everybody's okay. Hope to find out here in the next couple of days or whatever. And Gumpy tried to explain to me what this Super League is and why everybody hates it. I checked out their website.
Good looking website.
Website looked unbelievable. Good UI, good UX. So what's going on in the world right now, for those that don't know, is the world of soccer is comprised of these little leagues. There's like 5 of them, I guess. There's the Premier League, La Liga, the German one. There's an Italian one.
France.
There's another one. All these little leagues, and then they all compete to be in the top 3 in their leagues.
Top 4.
Top 4 in their leagues. And if you're top 4 in those leagues, you get a chance to be in the Champions League.
Correct.
The local leagues, the state leagues, the MLSs, just for lack of a better metaphor, but for each of these countries or whatever, they play on the weekends.
Yes.
Champions League plays Tuesday, Wednesday. These are running concurrent to each other. And while seasons are going, the country leagues, you're competing to try to get into the Champions League and to win your own independent championship or whatever. And then those change throughout the years. There are times where you're in the top 4 in a league, you're in the Champions League, you're playing in the Champions League, and then you end up not in the top 4 of your own league the next year, and you get dropped the fuck out of the Champions League. See you later. You don't get to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
So that's called delegation and relegation and all this other shit, right?
So the relegation is actually the country's league. If you finish in the bottom 4 of your country's league, you then drop down to, say, like the XFL.
Okay, so you could potentially go from the AAFL, the XFL.
Yeah.
You play good enough. These teams play bad enough. You can get into that league.
Correct.
We'll call it the NCAA.
Yeah.
So then if you play well enough in that league and get in the top 4, you can then go play in the Champions League, which is the biggest league, right?
Yeah. So
you could potentially go from like farmer, beer drinking, throw together team in the AAFL, XFL, have a bunch of studs, win, get into their MLS, the English's MLS, play really well for a year, bang, get in the top 4, get into the Champions League. So now that the Europe Super League has been put together with the backing of JP Morgan Chase, who's put together like $5.5 billion to launch this thing, they're trying to replicate and replace the Champions League, and they're trying to play on Wednesdays, but they allowed for 5 spots to be opened up for, I assume, somebody from each league to come play. This now has caused a massive, absolute backlash situation for all of soccer in Europe. This is not a big soccer show, okay? Played soccer, was pretty good at soccer. Loved playing soccer. Never been able to watch it because I just like things going on. And American football is here in America, so I watch that. I'm like, oh, this is much better than that. But I'll watch, whenever, for instance, I got in with Pulisic whenever he was rolling with Chelsea last year. Now we got Gio Reyna. I'll watch and see what's going on because I like the United States men's team to have success. That'd be great. In the United States women's team, whenever we're just beating the shit out of everybody, I'll watch that. But I don't watch. This has become something that has now become a global conversation because the tradition and legacy of soccer is about to come to an end because the greedy corporate fat cats that own the big name franchises want to do without the Champions League. Am I getting the proper reading on this?
Yeah, and the best way that I can potentially compare it to, from my understanding, is take the 15 biggest college football schools, not the best college football schools, the 15 that make the most money.
By the way, we were pitching this in the fall.
Take those 15, they separate from the NCAA, they make their own tournament, their own league, and then potentially have maybe whoever finishes first in the top 5 left over of the top 5 conferences or whatever, maybe they get to come into the league if they win for the next year, next season, like that. So it's getting rid of, like, a few years ago, Leicester came from the very bottom. They're supposed to come in last in the EPL. They came in first, so they get in the Champions League next year. West Ham this year, who is not a big club, is in the top 4 this year for EPL. It takes away their possibility to get in the Champions League and compete against the bigger clubs from other countries and stuff like that. And basically, I think the outcry is that it's taking away from potentially the little or the smaller market clubs from being able to compete against the bigger.
And I assume what the Super League would say, well, that's why we have the 5 spots to come join us. But then now the English Premier League and the other leagues, I guess, are saying if you play in the Super League, you're banned. FIFA came out and said you play in the Super League, you're banned. You can't play in the World Cup. The UEFA, which owns the Champions League, is obviously saying that they're very against this. Joining us now, a man who can hopefully make sense of this all, an incredible footy handicapper, owner of Premier Sports Plays and Premier Sports Days, Nigel Seeley.
Hey, boy, Nigel.
Hey, boy, Nigel. How's it going, mate?
Hello, guys. Good to join you. Thank you very much for having me on. I wish I was coming on to talk about something better than this because I'm absolutely peed off about it. But good to have you on. Thanks very much for having me on.
Hey, okay, so no problem. It's an honor. Immediately, soccer conversation, British guy who has the accent. You make us look a lot better. So thank you so much for joining us and maybe smartening me up a little bit. Let me talk about this real quick from my side, Nigel, and then you kind of give your thing. So I read about this Europe Super League, and I don't pay close enough attention. I will gamble alongside Gumpy, who is giving out footy picks at a high level, much like yourself. I'll watch Pulisic and the U.S. guys are starting to really get good over there. Think, it's good for everybody that this is happening. This Europe Super League comes out, and it's all these massive name teams, teams that the world recognizes, teams that everybody, and they're like, hey, this is going to be a league. We're going to play against each other. I look at the website. It's like, we're in this. We're going. It's a beautiful website. I say, this looks awesome. You know what I mean? Because it's a bunch of teams that I've heard of about to play for each other. I got buried, Nigel. I got buried. So I think the reason why I thought it looked awesome is because I thought players were the ones behind this, wanting to do this to maybe make up for more money and everything like that. Turns out that's not the case, and I think all of Europe rallied around 2 things. They hate the Super League, and they fucking hated my tweet. Nigel, tell me why I was wrong, and tell me what the hell's going on over there.
Well, the whole of Europe wasn't wrong. They were dead right. It was a fucking shit tweet, but there you go. But let's start off with it. Well, first of all, what gives these clubs any God-given right to be considered the top 15 clubs in European football? Spurs haven't won a Premier League title or a First Division Championship title for 60 years. Arsenal not in the Champions League. Manchester United have never been the same since Alex Ferguson left. Manchester City in 1999 were playing in the 3rd tier of English football. And Liverpool, up until last year, well, they haven't won a Premier League title. So suddenly, at the moment, these sides are considered the best teams in European football, which is totally farcical. What they're doing is they're basically guaranteeing their fortunes and not giving anybody else having any hope or aspiration of meeting them. It's like playing poker with a mate who wins all the hands and then pisses off and doesn't give you your money back. It's absolutely scandalous. Let me just tell you one thing. I mean, the other thing about English football is that all those clubs I've mentioned are owned by foreign owners. Arsenal managed by Americans, Manchester United are managed by Americans, Manchester City are managed by Abu Dhabi. Liverpool are managed by Americans. These clubs have 150 years of history, with which have been brought up by locals, by fans, by players, by fathers, generations.
It's us.
Now, but the thing is, you just can't write that history off. Now, these players, when does it get to the point where they have enough money? At the moment, they're earning 100 grand a week, 150 grand a week. What's another 50 grand a week to them? What's another 50 grand to me? The gap between the top and the bottom in English football is much bigger than it ever should be. Years ago, it should be a feeder club. You had aspirations. You wanted to play in League Two. You wanted to play in League One. Those clubs made money by selling those players to the better clubs. Now the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and what happens is English football, the lower league football, just becomes a non-entity. And for me, it has a knock-on effect, not only in the lower levels, it had an effect on international football. World Cups won't become as important, and everything will hinge on this thing. And to me, it's the totally wrong thing, and it's all about money and greed. And I think there's enough money in the game, and the people have made a lot of money out of it.
Oh, Nigel, I appreciate all your information there and knowledge. I did not know until your answer there that this is probably Americans' fault. I mean, I should have assumed.
No, it's a business sport. What's happened is it's a business sport. So people have come into and bought a sport, seen it as a business, run it as a business. If I was the owner of the football club, then I'll be looking at it on monetary side of view. But as a player, they're looking at it. But what they're doing is they're devaluing the history of these clubs.
Yeah, that's terrible, by the way. That's just like, that's absolutely...
No, it's very different. Over here, how we run our sports, we have a promotion, we have a relegation. And what we do is we want to beat our local rivals, and we want to go up from the aspirations to take a team from League One, the Championship, play in the Premier League. It's like the Golden Goose. That's what we want to play. We want to be in it. What you're doing is now is you're taking these top 6 sides and putting them into this league and giving them sort of some freedom to play at that level with that kind of revenue, and no one else is allowed in. That, to me, is unfair. Now, what I'm saying is these teams have all had ups and downs in their season. Manchester City were in the 3rd league of football before in 1999. So it's an elitism thing that's just not allowing people to come in and everything. Now, the problem is what these clubs want to do is they want to play that league and then play in the Premier League, but they will get £300 million for playing in an invitational league, which means the gap is bigger and better, and they won't pay their best players. Now, these clubs have been built on local traditions. They've been built on local families, local everything from 100 years ago, and it won't go down well with fans. Fans will boycott it. My general impression is this will not happen, because if you asked a Liverpool fan if he could play Everton, that would mean much more to him than playing Real Madrid on a Tuesday night in this league. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing apart from the revenue bringing the club and the revenue for the player. And the player will not be able to play international football for his country, which means everything. From me as a kid, you wanted to play football, you wanted to play for your country, you wanted to play in the World Cup. That was the pinnacle. Now it's not the pinnacle. And the whole demographic of football or soccer worldwide now has changed, because it's running as an organisation, as a company and a franchise, which purely and simply will not work in this country. They might try it, but the fans will boycott it. I'm absolutely certain of it. Now, it's what's happened for years and years in American sports, where you've had no promotion, no relegation. It's a collegiate system, I understand that. But what we've had here, we have 4 divisions. And people come into Manchester City and bought that club when they were in League 2 of English football, League 1 of English football. Now they could win the Champions League. They've hit the pinnacle. Now you're not given the opportunity for other teams to emulate what your success has done.
Okay.
So that is my problem. My problem with it is at the moment these 6 clubs are ranked the best teams in English football, but they weren't 10 years ago, and they may not be in 10 years' time.
Okay.
So why not let the other clubs have a chance? The other thing is
Nigel, hold on 1 second. To your point right there, So, because I was just about to ask, how could they make this better? How can they make the Super League work? Because they're obviously trying to take out the Champions League, which the Champions League has a great relationship, obviously, with the teams because it's ever evolving who gets in there, who doesn't get in there, who's a mainstay, who's not, who's a superstar. That whole thing. Is there anything the Super League could do to stick around, or do you think this is an absolutely dead idea that you don't think anybody will ever get behind?
Well, I think the first thing they've done is done a PR disaster from the way it's been going.
I would say.
If they had done this gradually and got people to have the idea and come up with some more planning, then potentially it could work. But every club in the Premier League wants to make the Champions League. If they don't finish first, second, third, they can finish fourth and get in the Champions League, earn money. And they're guaranteed their right. Now, the problem with these clubs is one of the reasons I feel as well is the pandemic has had a real detrimental effect on these clubs, and a lot of them have overspent. So they've overspent and they've realised they're buying players, they've got new stadiums, they haven't got the money. By getting in the Super League, it gives them 20 years of revenue stream to reimburse. But what about the poor clubs that have had no fans, that rely on 4,000 and 5,000 people? And this is where, and I wasn't being critical of the American, the ownership. They're running it as a business, which I understand. If you run your business, I run my business. We all want to make profit from our business. But what they haven't understood is the way the English Football League works. Kids at 17, 18 play in front of 3,000 or 4,000 people. They then want to go up and get a job, and their survival is by selling that player to a Premier League club to get £1 million, which will keep them in the business for a year and keep that club going. There's 92 football teams, soccer teams in this country. The way that we're reading this from the world, you'd think there's only 6 and there's only 20 teams in the Premier League. It isn't. It's a selling process that goes on. We don't have a collegiate system like America. We don't have that. So these clubs will go to the wall because the players, the elite players, will have the money and they'll spend it around themselves, and they'll put their teams, the feeder teams and younger teams, that will not be able to progress. From a commercial point of view, it's ridiculous. And from a fan point of view, the fans, honestly, we're a very small country. Going to watch our team away from home, doing a 2-hour journey on the train, that's what English soccer is about. It's about camaraderie. It's about joining together. This has made it more an elitist sport. It's about the rich getting richer and a lot of people going to the wall. And that's what we feel very bad about. And I think unless you knew the whole demographic of the English football leagues, then it was very hard for someone to understand. But from your point of view, Pat, I understand it completely. You look at it and go, you've got 15 teams, Real Madrid against Barcelona.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I feel like the American owner. I feel like the American owners being like, yo, I get a chance to see who play who's all in it. I get to, as just a stooge, who's not really in it. I'm like, this sounds magical. But then once you started piecing together there how literally this would potentially systemically tear apart the fabric of soccer in Europe, I want to let you know, I'm out on it, Nigel. I fucking hate it. I'm out on the Super League. What do you have, Diggs?
Nigel, there's actually some breaking news. Jesper Moller, who is the Danish FA chairman and UEFA executive committee member, said that he expects on Friday all the teams in the Super League will be expelled. So how do they finish the regular season? How do they go about Champions League?
Hold on, Nigel. And can they back out of the Super League already, or do you know enough about it that they can't back out?
Well, I'm not. The thing is, it's an ever evolving news story. So things are happening all the time. Whenever I hear stories like this, the first thing I think of is how do I make money on it? How do I cash? How do I make money? That's all I think about. First of all, I'm a football fan. I don't want to happen. Then I think, how do I make money on it? And my first reaction was, if all these teams suspend all their players for the European Football Championships coming, that decimates the English team, that decimates the Spanish sides. But the only team that, there's no German team in it. So my first reaction was to bet Germany to win the European Championship.
By the way, let's hammer that. That's
the first thing I would do. Right. So I think there's a need. I think there's a knee-jerk reaction, and I think it's like a game of chess. That everyone's trying to outmaneuver each other and try to make threats. But what this has clearly shown me is that the Premier League has become its own beast. It's made the clubs that really weren't powerful. Like, they didn't have so much money. I mean, my parents lived in the street when I was a young kid. They didn't have much money. They were okay, but we used to live in the same street as a guy who played football in the Premier League. And now the footballers live in a big estate, and they have the gap between normality and these football stars is huge. It's always been that way in America, but it hasn't been this way in this country. And I just think, if you're earning you're talking about Mbappe and Haaland, and they want £1 million a week to go to move to Barcelona. Really, does it make much of them to play £1.5 million a week? I think as a football player, as a soccer player, you wanted to represent your country. That was what it was here. You wanted to win the World Cup for England. You wanted to win a European Championship. It was never about winning leagues, but now it's completely changed. We have this mentality, and I think that if FIFA and UEFA stop these players playing from their country, I think the players will absolutely like that, because they have the summer off with their families. They can go to the beach, they can go to Dubai, they don't have to play, and then they can come back and play in the Super League and get paid an extra 200 grand a week. So it doesn't. That's not something that happens. But I think the only thing that can stop this from happening is fan power. And we've seen this season in the Premier League, and we've seen it across Europe and across the world, how much sport needs fans. Watching these games of Premier League football, I swear, I've watched football all my life. They are shit. And the thing is, the reason they're shit is because there's no fans. There's no atmosphere. And we boycott it. They won't do it.
Okay, so I like the thought of, hey, we ain't doing it, we're not going. I hope that is something that happens. Do you think there's a chance, and this is also me being a stooge again, by the way, because you talk about the international play and FIFA banning any Super League. FIFA has not been known to turn down money before, right? Couldn't the Super League go to FIFA and just say, we're the captains now? Isn't that something that could happen? Or do you think FIFA, UEFA, Champions League, they're all too tight at the hip?
Well, I'm sure there'll probably be a deal done in a car park somewhere between FIFA and the owners with a couple of brown envelopes. But I think what will happen is, I think it's just a game of chess and a threat. I don't know how far it would go. I really don't know, but I'm hoping that there can be some kind of deal struck. We know could be one of the reasons why the clubs are doing what they do, because they don't trust FIFA as an organisation, and they want to form their own organisation with the people that run the clubs running it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's very hard for people to understand. I mean, I support Queen's Park Rangers in the Championship, and our big game was playing Fulham and Brentford, and it never meant anything to me to beat Manchester United. But as long as we beat that team, that was all that cared to me and my family and my dad. My uncle supported him. And there's this generation. And the prime example that I can give you is Liverpool against Everton. They've been playing since 1894. Woo! 268 fixtures between these two sides, separated by a park. If you asked a Liverpool fan, what would mean more to you, to win the Super League on a Wednesday night away at Atletico Madrid, or playing that fixture? I think that fixture will be more than anything. But I do understand the business we're in. I do understand money. I understand where it's coming in. The world is changing. But I do think these clubs have overspent in the pandemic, and I think their wage bills are astronomical, and they want to just basically secure themselves to get that revenue for years. I hope it doesn't happen, and I'm glad you got stick, Pat, for your tweet, because it deserved as much stick as it got.
Okay, obviously everybody's comments were about spot on, by the way. You're a wanker who doesn't know anything, though. It's like, well, you're 100% right, actually. And Nigel, thank you for coming in here and smartening us up. I feel like we all learned mightily that although globally those fans from the nostalgia, like you said, the Spurs haven't been good and whatever, I remember them having a good global push, though. Manchester United, whenever Beckham was on that team and Ronaldo was on that team, as a kid, it became a big global deal. It sounds like what's going on is a bunch of bullshit, and thank you for smartening us up, especially on the bottom end, really learning about soccer over there. Now, before I let you go, Nigel, I got to ask, do you have an Oculus over there?
Yes, I do.
What are you doing there? You play ping pong?
No, I bought it for the kids, but the kids said it was rubbish, so I put it on, and I do a little bit of a bit of workout, the boxing workout,
Yeah.
workout.
Yeah.
Do a bit of work. As you can see, not much. But I do a fair bit. But and I've tried the boxing, but I can't last a round. I'm absolutely done in after one round.
Yeah, you got to throw. Hey, let me tell you, left hand sternum right over top. It's the cheat code for that game. I love the hell out of it. And maybe I'll see you in there for some ping pong as well, Nigel.
Take care. All the best. Lovely to speak to you. Thanks for having me on. All
Thank
the
you.
best, guys.
No. Thank you for smartening us up. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigel Steele.
Nigel.
So you see, Diggs, that's what it's all about.
That's what I said. It's basically
That's basically. I mean, you said, so the XFL.
I'm trying to. Hey, by the way, Germany's plus 850 right now.
Yeah,
Just
go
made
ahead and
the
get that.
fucking
By the way,
hammer
if
that
this that was a great call there by Nigel. Nigel's like, listen, every time we do this thing, I wanna see how can I make money off of this. Germany's got a full squad. None of them are joining.
Good news, Gumpy was already on Germany before this even happened. So feel really good about the Germany plus 850.
Let's get to a break here. Let's come back on the other side. We'll answer some calls. I think Billy's either answering calls right now or I will answer some calls back there. Cannot wait to chat with folks. It is an incredible Monday, April 19th, 2021. And we got some phone calls wrapping up hour one. In the hour two, by the way, we'll have Ian Rappaport will join us. A lot of conversation about Trey Lance's second pro day happening today in Fargo, North Dakota. Allegedly, it was the Niners that really wanted this thing put together. Is that true? Is that not true? Is Trey Lance potentially going number 3 overall after only playing 17 college football games? Unbelievable story. From Marshall, Minnesota, no Power 5 offers. Then he becomes the North Dakota State quarterback, redshirt, plays a year, has an incredible run. COVID comes, plays one game. Now he's potentially number 3 overall pick. Let's go, kid. How you doing? That's like the English soccer leagues where you're going from the bottom all the way up to the top very quickly. Beautiful story. We'll talk to Rappaport that and more. Yeah, this is Monday. We'll see you on the other side. I just saw a picture of you getting out of, I think, a 757 that is from Jim Irsay. What was that, and have you ever been in that plane before?
I thought it was like the team plane to fly all of the Indianapolis Colts. Literally, I mean, it's got the logo on it, Pat, and it was awesome. But look, that's just Jim. Pat, I had a wonderful 14 years there. It's obviously the team that I wanted to play for always. I understood the decision he had to make, and no hard feelings, and for him to send his plane to fly me and my son down here, it was a great gesture. A lot of room for me and Marshall. We were throwing the football. So, pretty cool experience. Pretty cool father-son weekend.
By the way, as he's moving from event to event right now, you are the best, dude. Where are you headed right now?
I'm going to the game. I got Lynch, I got Faneca, I got these guys in the background.
Boys, congratulations. Yeah! Congratulations, boys. All right, Peyton. Oh, hey, there he is. Marshall, I hope you enjoyed that plane, pal. Hey, Peyton, last thing here. You talking to Tom Brady, you becoming friends with him. It was interesting to watch. Oh, yeah, take the photo. Take the photo. All right, we will wrap this up.
Well, I'll tell you, Pat, I don't think anybody can do what Tom has done. Look, I know how hard it was for me to get on the same page with my receivers, learn a new system, learn new coaches. But I had a full off season. I was injured. I was rehabbing. The fact that Tom has done this in a COVID pandemic off season, no time to meet with his receivers. He met with his coaches illegally by breaking into Byron Leftwich's house. So besides that, it's been incredible what he's been able to accomplish, and he deserves all the credit. His leadership is what's put the Bucs in this game today, and I have great respect for him because I know how hard it is, but he deserves all the credit.
Hey, how did you know Red 18 was coming?
Pat, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you telling that story and just growing the legend. That was about the 18th time I tried it. I was over 17 going into that. And, you know, when it doesn't hit, you just keep walking. Nobody ever really tells you about it. So when it hit, I was as surprised as you were. And the reaction from some of the good old folks there in the casino that night was pretty special.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. You made me and those folks in the casino a bunch of money. Congrats on the Hall of Fame nod. Thank you for spending time. Enjoy yourself at the game, Peyton.
Pat, thanks, pal. I appreciate you.
The Sheriff Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning. Hey, listen, tonight, you in the red, you in the blue. I hate you both, and fuck you too. Before I leave here, I'm knocking all of you out. Cheers. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You too. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Bang. And I'm out. Give me out.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
NFL draft season is upon us. It is possible that you might have Trevor Lawrence's haircut in your pants.
Oh.
That's why partners at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have partnered with us to make sure you don't gamble on shaving your balls the same way you gamble on football. For all of our draft geeks, we have an exclusive 20% promo code by going to manscaped.com/Pat. Will your favorite team go defensive back in the first round? Not sure, but I am sure with the Lawnmower 3.0, you can get your D back.
Hell yeah.
Get it?
Maybe not me, but someone, yeah.
Because of their ceramic blade and skin-safe technology, your nicks and snags will be reduced. This is the perfect protection needed for your franchise quarter balls. I want you to look in the mirror. Do you see any nose or ear hairs dangling? Look, fellas, 79% of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. The Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer is your solution. Why not use the best tools for the job? The Performance Package comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag for you to use when done quarantine, and some other liquid formulations like the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. For a limited time, subscribers get not one but two free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, $39 value add, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped boxer briefs. Get 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/Pat. That's 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/Pat. It's time you turn that team in your pants around with Manscaped.
It's beach season.
It is, isn't it?
Almost.
I think beaches are open as well. I think you're allowed to go to beaches
for
right
sure.
now. I don't think beaches are closed.
No.
I saw a lot of pictures from beaches throughout this entire time. How about us talking about soccer there?
I would say, if I gave us a grade, and I'd say we nailed it.
I think so too. And I don't know if that's necessarily a grade, but I think if the remarks would be that we nailed it. We hit all the rules. We had a British guy talking about it who seemed to be very passionate and know what he was talking about.
Passionate.
He gave us some money as well. I feel like we covered the European Super League, which is trending like number one basically all morning. A pretty good go here as an American football
Look at us.
We did it. We're a sports show, dude.
Imagine though, say the NFL took their top 15 money-making teams and just decided, the rest of the teams, you've no chance ever again. There would be some uproar.
Yeah, there would be some uproar. And I didn't know you could go from the intramural squad.
Yes.
Win some games. You get into the Premier League, win some games, get into the Champions League. Your whole life. He said in 1999, Man City was the shits.
And now Man City is most likely going to win.
And they're also in the Super League, aren't they? Weren't they?
They're going to win the EPL too, yeah.
Yeah, but they were Yeah, so they legitimately, if what Nigel is saying is right, are trying to cut off some team from doing what they were able to do with the old setup.
Yeah.
Seems like a money grab. It sounds like there's a lot of Americans involved, which is not great news for our entire image.
Well, and some of them, like he said, Tottenham and Arsenal, who it'd be like the Cowboys getting in the Super League just because they're the Cowboys, even though they haven't won anything in fucking forever.
Let's go to Lewis in Bloomington. What's going on, Lewis?
What's going on, Pat?
Hey, just hanging out, man. How are you? Thanks for joining us there.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Shout out the boys real quick. Hey, congratulations on the SmackDown.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What do you want to talk about?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, did you see that absolute clown post by Mid yesterday? this dude thinks that Trey Lance is the second coming of Cam Newton.
You don't know.
And I don't want to be a dick.
You don't know.
However,
Mitt went through an entire film study yesterday. He said he just got out of the lab. He watched a bunch of film. Mitt knows what he's talking about. Mitt knows what's going on out there.
I mean, you needed someone to fucking decipher what he was saying. But if you got, that Trey Lance was going to be Cam Newton out of that, I mean, there's been worse comparisons.
Let's go to Brian in Illinois. What's going on, Brian?
How you doing, Pat?
Not too shabby. How are you, bub?
Pretty good.
Good.
So,
what if that's just how it ended? That'd be cool.
A couple weeks ago.
Thank you, Brian.
Sorry, Pat. How you doing?
Hey, no, not too shabby, man. How are you?
I'm good. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
Nah, no worries, man. Do your thing there.
All right. So, Mac Jones, a couple weeks ago, the smoke screen or whatever, do you think it is a smoke screen with them going at 3 with the 49ers, or do you think that Fields and Lance are a sure thing?
I think we have a graphic. I'm not 100% sure. Do we have the graphic? Just 5 days ago, a graphic will just depict what the odds were for the number 3 overall pick. And then now 5 days later, they are very different. Trey Lance is going into his second pro day. Will they look even more different tomorrow now that there's a bunch of facts coming out that Shanahan and the 49ers were allegedly a part of this Trey Lance pro day and what quarterback coach he's working at? Here's odds for the 2021 NFL draft, number 3 overall pick, which is what the San Francisco 49ers traded with the Dolphins to go get. Now, they go all the way up to number 3. Everybody assumes they're going quarterback. You have to also assume if you go all the way up to number 3, you know what quarterback you want. You would be like, okay, here's the quarterback we're going to go and get. They might know who they want, but sportsbooks who seem to have an in everywhere have no idea what the Niners are going to do with the number 3 overall pick. 5 days ago, Mac Jones minus 270 as the number 3 overall pick. Justin Fields plus 200. Trey Lance plus 470. Here we are 5 days later. Minus 270 means massive favorite. Like not a good bet. You bet on this, you're actually going to lose money. It's not a good bet at all. Here we are 5 days later. Justin Fields goes from doubling your money to now minus 125. He is now the odds-on favorite to get number 3 overall after his second pro day where there was a photo of Shanahan and he laughing together while he's holding a bottle of water and pointing at something. Mac Jones goes from minus 270 to plus 180, and Trey Lance goes from plus 470 to plus 210. The sportsbooks have no idea. Will Trey Lance jump Mac Jones after today's pro day in the sportsbook's eyes? Potentially. Will he jump Justin Fields after today's pro day? Potentially. This is insane what's going on with the number 3 overall pick, because at this point in the game, after all the action, after all the bullshit, you would think that somebody would have leaked some information at some point. It sounds like there was information leaked, but it's all contradicting each other and nobody has a fucking clue. That's why draft night's going to be electric.
Of those 3, when the Niners traded up to 3, and they said they were keeping Jimmy Garoppolo. So, like Mac Jones, it seems like Mac Jones is who he is. We know who Mac Jones is. Trey Lance and Justin Fields, if you're keeping Jimmy Garoppolo and one of these two quarterbacks is going to sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo for a year, you go with Justin Fields or Trey Lance, because those are the guys in the draft who appear to see like they will benefit the most from sitting a year behind a guy learning, because Trey Lance has only played 17 or 19 games or whatever it is. And Justin Fields, they said, has all the ability in the world, but potentially could, under Shanahan for a year and sitting behind Jimmy G for a year, benefit the most. That Mac Jones, after they said we're keeping Jimmy G, didn't make sense.
Yeah, it still doesn't really make a lot of sense to me about anything going on up there. Trading up to number 3, you think you would already have the answer, but now they allegedly don't have the answer. It seems like there's a lot of smoke screens, but if Shanahan gets Trey Lance, who he played, 14 games or something his redshirt freshman year? And he threw 28 touchdowns, no interceptions, and ran for 40. Maybe it was 17 games, 14 touchdowns, 28 touchdowns. 28, you get it. There's some number.
Yeah.
And he goes in there and he just sits for Jimmy G for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and just comes out in his stud. Shanahan's a genius.
Yeah.
If he does the same thing with Justin Fields, he's a genius. If Mac Jones comes in there and lays a dud, is he a genius still? What if any of them lay a dud? This process has been a winding one, and I would assume Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance can't wait for it to end. Trey Lance can do a lot today. Trey Lance is going to get a chance to showcase. Trey Lance allegedly changed his quarterback coach because the Niners asked for him to, so they can get a little bit more research on him because he doesn't have have a lot of game film. Is this all bullshit? Is it all poker? Who knows? We got a 6-minute break until hour 2 begins on the other side. More of your phone calls. Ian Rappaport will also join us. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Monday, April 19th.
They want to play for the Yankees one day, the people I'm playing against. They want to play for the fucking Yankees.
Check out, like, in there, we put a little surprise in there for you.
About to get iced, it feels like. I mean, let's start the day, I guess.
What the fuck you get it?
It's great to be a member of the Washington Wild Things baseball team. We're number 1 in the league, right?
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Fuck everybody. Fuck everybody else. When I take BP, will there be anybody telling me how to fuck the hit? No. It feels like the wind's blowing this way. Yeah. Might have to attack that fence tonight, huh? Hey, you got it! Does the DJ play heaters like this all night? I started hitting 2 days ago. Oh, you'll be fine. I think I figured it out. You'll probably only face 90 miles an hour. Is that me in the game there? This is a good at bat. This is a good at bat. Oh shit! Oh shit! Give me it!
1-1 pitch.
Let's go!
Line drive right
son of a
at
bitch!
the
That came down a lot faster than I thought, though. Let's be honest.
It's deep, and it is off the wall. Field it up.
Excuse me! If you could all get off of my dick, we would be better off. Tell you what, would have been nice to take a nap earlier.
Another throw.
Get back!
First.
You have to tell me when that's happening. You're making me look bad. Hey, Steven, fuck you. Hey, fuck you, Steven. Hey, nice pitch. 149. Does that feel good, Steven? Oh, wow. Wow.
He tosses him the ball.
Wow. Back to being a player now. Making plays. Touchdown. What inning is it?
Top of the second.
Jesus. But it was finally my time to get in that box.
Number 1, the right fielder, the former punter from West Virginia, a former Indianapolis Colt, and a current Barstool Sports personality, Pat McAfee.
The anticipation is real.
Oh, fuck.
Hit out.
I'm in the hole? Son of a bitch, this is about to happen.
And that will bring up Pat McAfee once again.
First pitch from Reynaldo Lopez, swing and a miss by McAfee.
Hey! What was that? And the catcher goes, I had to give you one.
Looked off speed.
What was that? Then I look at the pitcher, and he's smiling. He's like laughing, like he's toying with me like I'm a child. It all comes down to this. My last at-bat. Hey, I'm gonna get on. You bring me home.
This is your life on the line, fucker.
Let me tell you something. You're going to take an L, okay? You're going to take one. So I think that the close your eyes and swing method is perfect for you. Oh, this is hardball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus. You have no prayer.
All right. Number 1, right fielder, Pat McAfee.
Oh, boy. Oh, this is the thing. Let's go! What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, between just for myself, you know, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, you know, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on you. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you were pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start
you know,
self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused, they'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
Roger Goodell gave me a big hug beforehand, too, so that's good news there. Thank you so much. Shane, you drinking? Yeah. Cheers to you, man. That was a good one. That was good. That was good. Oh, that was I feel like it went pretty good. Oh, look at the phone.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, Hour 2 here on Monday, April 19th, 2021. We'll begin immediately following this beat drop from Twine. There it is. Here we go. In Hour 1, we talked a lot of European Super League. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Look at that. European Super Duper Soccer League. I guess that would be cutting the entire continent of Europe's soccer levels out at the knees.
It's a disgrace, Pat.
It's a disgrace. It's disgusting. What I immediately thought of, the people that have been making money this whole time are now upset because somebody else is going to make money, which is what I thought this potentially was. You know, when UEFA came out and was like, we're against this, and then FIFA came out and against this, where it was like, I was initially thinking, the players are doing this. This is like, hey, we're going to take control of this whole thing. And that was because I didn't fully understand the entire breakdown of European soccer, because noted, not a fan. Noted, not Correct. A fan. Noted, very well noted. Nigel Seeley comes on, a passionate mate from over there in England, gives me the whole breakdown, a lesson basically on why this is fucked up, how this is fucked up, and what this could potentially fuck up in the future. I want to let you know, I am disgusted with the European Super League. What are we doing out here? These guys are out there trying to make some money for the towns that they're playing in.
Greedy corporate factors.
There's people trying to make it up from the streets, little throw-together team, trying to make it in the Premier League to one day dream of being in the Champions League. This is disgusting what's going on over there.
The thing that Nigel said that I was a little bit surprised by was talking about how when you grow up, you want to play for country and bring the World Cup home. And then he said, well, it seems like these players might be okay with this because they're going to get the summer off.
He did.
Get paid
He did seem to question the passion for the national team of Correct. Where you come from. You do have to remember, like when I was playing soccer, better than 99% of the people that attack me on the internet for my ignorance about soccer, by the way. I was a good soccer player. But dream was to play for the United States. You know, got a chance to play for a team representing United States overseas, and it was like really cool. It was a really cool thing. Like, hey, maybe Olympics, maybe World Cup. Like, here we go. Here's a dream, which is what a lot of people played for. Like, hey, this is what I want to do. I remember thinking, like, it would be cool to be a part of an Olympic team or a World Cup team that America won with. Like, that'd be a cool thing, especially because how the world viewed soccer here in America for a long time, and I dedicated a lot of my life to it, driving all over the country to play it every single week. And I remember thinking that. So I think Nigel's thought about how it used to be be about just playing for your team. Now, U.S. is much different than over in Europe, though, because an actual conversation had to be had between myself, my father, and my mom. Do I want to get rich in America, or do I want to get rich in Europe? Because to get rich playing soccer, you have to play in Europe. To get rich, obviously, in America, kicking footballs. That was a part of an actual conversation. Now, a lot of things would have had to happen for both of those to become true, but whenever you're putting together a pros, cons list, when you're trying to make a decision between kicking footballs for the rest of your life or continuing to play soccer, in which you have more schools looking at you to do more hype, more everything, more history, more connections, more everything in that particular world, or do you go kick? It was like, well, inevitably, if everything works out and I want to be rich, which is what this is all about here, I'm gonna have to do that over in Europe. They make so much money over there. You see like the top earners and everything like that, 300, 400. I think there's a couple billionaires over there now. NBA guys make a shit ton of cash and everything like that, but the amount of money you make over there, I didn't fully understand why those guys make the amount of money they make over there, and it's because the people that grow up in the towns in which have these teams are birthed into a fan base that is loyal through everything. I talked to Gumpy this morning. He said every game's a sellout over there. It's not like, hey, is there going to be fans? There is. That's just how it is. The entire town is pulling for that team, and now it seems like they're potentially trying to cut some towns out of the entire operation, which kind of takes away from the whole thing, which was that inevitable? Was that inevitably going to happen? Do we think it's potentially going to happen now? Or will the tradition of a sport that's called the beautiful game, live on? I guess we'll watch from afar, knowing a little bit more than we used to, but generally not knowing a fuck about any of it.
Well said.
It's legit, dude.
3 of the top 5 from 2020 highest paid athletes are Cristiano, Messi, and Neymar.
Yeah. So
and then LeBron and Federer is actually number 1. I assume he sold a tequila company or something.
Well, yeah, him and Clune came together and sold a tequila company. Anyways, that was a big deal this morning when I woke up, and I potentially put my tweet out there just to kind of
feeler,
kind of see how everything's going. Boy, I was attacked by blokes and mates and wankers and yankers, and the amount of people that came after me, I could have never guessed that was going to happen. Happy I got a chance to learn why. Not just reading their website was, I guess, the full indicator on how it would go. Their website's very nice.
Very good.
It is a very, very good website. Good scroll function. And to be honest, whenever they laid out, like, there will be 5 spots open for people to earn their way in here. I'm like, look at how nice that. And then it turns out that's just, they're fucking over everybody. Okay, got it. That sounds like the way a lot of people do business. Kind of a shame. Let's move on. In our football, a man who, not as surprising, as I think others have been, but still something that was like, oh, I didn't know if we're going to give it another go or not. Alex Smith has officially retired from the NFL. Congrats, Alex. He put out an entire video via his wife's Instagram. I believe it was a reel. At the end of it, he says to all his teammates, to all his coaches, to all his fans, both all in San Fran and Kansas City and in Washington, I want to say thank you for believing in me and thank you for helping me believe in myself. I assume there's moments of doubt in all professions, including the one that is quarterback. Him saying that he helped people believe, or the people helped him believe in himself, especially when he went through one of the most gruesome injuries and rehabs. I think 17 surgeries or something like that, or 8, 9 surgeries. Something happened. He has his hamstring as a shin. The rehab he had to go through was strenuous. The rehab he had to have gone through was terrible. I've gone through rehab for knee surgeries. The fact that he had to basically rebuild an entire part of his body, then rebuild every single muscle around it, and that part of your body happens to have to bear all the weight of your entire body on it. He was able to do that somehow. A lot of people would have quit through that. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to make it. He battles through it. The football was still in his hand and got a chance to get back onto the football field in an NFL fashion, starting and giving Aaron Donald basically a piggyback ride. Unbelievable story. Unbelievable legacy. And congrats, Alex Smith, on a hell of a run here.
Hell of a career. number 1 overall pick. I feel like one more of the underrated and underappreciated quarterbacks. I mean, even
game manager, game. That's all anybody ever said about him. It was like, yeah, do they win or not? I mean, what are we?
I mean, he's 36 years old. Even without the injury, it would have been a great career and a great story. Went 5-1 last year, surprisingly. I did not know that. And then stole the comeback player of the year from Big Ben. But I guess once you get that, you can retire.
I don't think it was a theft. I think it was a realization of what he went through to get back on the field was absurd. Yeah. I mean, just absolutely absurd. 5-1, great record. And that Washington football team, by the way, a good team. Hey, they almost beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in playoffs. People forget. Heineke almost went out there and got a goddamn win, you know what I mean? Alex Smith, though, afterwards in a GQ magazine, basically talks about how he didn't feel as if everybody in Washington wanted him to succeed or wanted him to play again. Ron Rivera actually came out and was like, it kept me up at night thinking about him going out. He 5-1, 6 games. Ron Rivera was uneasy about it all. It's because the scar is gnarly. The injury is known by people. It's just he hangs it up. I thought he was going to go down to Jacksonville. Urban Meyer alluded to it on the Michael Irvin podcast. He actually said, I like Alex. I'm keeping my eye on Alex. I would love Alex in Jacksonville or something like that. I would assume Urban had already known when he gave that interview that Alex was probably going to retire. So he was trying not to steal Alex's moment. If I had to guess, they know each other from Utah, which is where Urban coached before Florida, where, by the way, he won at. One at Utah, one at Florida, one at Ohio State. Let's all assume that he's going to try to figure out how to win in Jacksonville. Not necessarily apples to apples, though, with college football to NFL football, but it sounds like the way he's talking to his players, he's going to be able to adjust to talking to adults who have a lot of money, who have been around football a long time, and it's their job as opposed to a fashion or whatever. But Alex Smith, hell of a run, man.
And he's made a lot of money in his career, so I don't know if he necessarily needs to do this, but it seems like someone who's going to somehow stay around football in some fashion. If you go through all that just to get back on the football field, it seems like once you retired, you're probably going to stick around football and do something.
He's probably, I don't know. He said he wants to go on walks with his wife. In the backyard is about to be a whole new place, he said, for his kids and everything. I think he maybe wants to step away, don't you? You think coaching?
No. That's what I'm saying.
TV.
Maybe something like that.
Oh, because he's very handsome. Very handsome. We all know his story's unbelievable. Immediate credibility immediately upon stepping onto any set or behind any microphone. Oh, you're thinking TV. His speech he gave for his retirement was pretty good.
He's made almost $200 million in his career, so I do not think he's going to coach. Know what it takes to coach. I don't think he's going to do that, but something. I feel like
TV feels like the right move.
Or maybe he coaches his kids' teams and stuff like that.
Let's go to John in North Dakota. What's going on, John? Big things going in North Dakota right now. John, what's up?
Not much. How are you and the boys doing?
Hey, not too shabby. We hope the boys are doing fine as well. They were at a COVID super spreading celebration this weekend. We got to check on them here for the next day or so. How are you doing, John?
Well, I was doing well until I woke up and saw this Super League bullshit.
Oh, out there in North Dakota, Trey Lance potentially throwing his way into the number 3 overall pick, but the Super League's got you down in North Dakota. What's going on? Why do you hate it?
Well, I am North Dakota's resident European.
Nice.
And I hate the fact that my family has been supporting the club for several generations now that is in on this bullshit.
Who's that?
We've been supporting Tottenham Hotspur for like a good 80 years now, and
you say 80?
Yep. Well, I haven't, but my granddad.
The family, your granddad and your dad's dad passed it down to your dad.
Born into this family, I didn't really have much of a choice.
Do you know, if you guys didn't support them so well, they wouldn't have made the money, which would have made them overspend, which made them to go to this point. Do you think it's potentially your fault for supporting a team that is now in the Super League?
Well, I wish I had fault in this.
No, it's not your fault.
But sadly, I think it's part of. Well, Tottenham is the only team in England in this whole shenanigan stuff that has an English owner. And I think it's just rich people looking for more money when they don't really need it.
That's very interesting. The only English owner is the Hotspur. John right there was legitimately heartbroken right there. He was heartbroken that the team that he supported, the team that has an English rep at the owners' meetings, actually bought in there. That's what's happened with this Super League. Everybody sees the big names, okay, and fantasizes about these matchups happening on a very regular basis that maybe wouldn't happen but once every 5 years or so. This is just like there's a showcase game happening in the NFL. We just added a showcase game for these, conferences that maybe won't play each other, but once every 5 years. We're going to get a chance to see some teams play against each other on a regular basis here in the NFL. We're going to be pumped up about it. But, this Super League that had these fantasies of these, big names going against you, they didn't even think about the small team, Diggs. Didn't even think about them.
Well, one of the owners.
What are they doing?
Moved his team from St. Louis to L.A. for money, I believe.
Oh, Kroenke's involved?
Yeah, Kroenke also owns Arsenal, which that article came out last week about Tepper being the richest owner.
$14.5 billion.
I mean, Kroenke owns the
Rockies.
Arsenal, the Avalanche, the Rockies, maybe the Nuggets. The Rams.
And he just built that stadium in L.A. Does he have anything fluid? Are they count? Does Tepper just got that fluid?
Maybe.
Just sitting in the backyard? Is that what they're talking about, or is there investments involved in this?
I don't know, but then for Liverpool, and Man U, I believe that it's the Red Sox group, to see the
Gump.
American business.
Hey, Gump, you never walk alone, Gump. I don't know if you're listening to that. Yin's going to be walking alone right out of the fucking English Premier League, pal. Unbelievable. Let's go to Isaac in Ohio. OH.
What's up, IO?
That's what I'm talking about.
Pat, what I would like to talk about, first off, shout out to you and the boys. Great show. Watch you guys every day before I go into work.
Thanks, man. Sure stinks.
What I would like to talk about is, I don't know if it's a biased opinion because I'm a Browns fan, but Vegas has us at 9.5 wins. And I just feel like we should be over 9.5.
I agree. Browns are at 9.5. Is that an over/under for real? That seems like a very good bet to bet the over there for the Browns.
FanDuel hasn't put out their totals yet, so I haven't looked at the numbers yet because I don't trust them.
Okay, because FanDuel Sportsbook is who you trust?
Yeah.
Hey, they put out some lines there that made me want to smack them in the mouth a little bit. Yeah, the fucking the Spieth.
Oh, yeah.
DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, under 68 on the Masters.
They didn't know that the course was coming for revenge.
Yeah, but everybody, Jake Laserdent said, we knew this was coming. We knew this was coming. How did FanDuel not know it? That was the only time where I've been like, you guys set me up. I think you guys set me up with that. But they said they did not. They said they did not know that or whatever.
No.
Imagine if they did know what would happen. We probably would have hit, I guess, that bet.
Yeah.
Man, maybe we should start sending research down there on the things that we know. Because didn't you have a golf insider on Hammer Down?
That said, the course. He lived in Augusta, so unless.
I didn't know you had an insider at Augusta. I assumed that FanDuel would have had an insider at Augusta too. Is that COVID Cowboys got somebody on the line?
Well, yeah. I mean, for Hammer Down, we make sure that we get the right information all the time.
Let's go to Alex in Houston. What's going on, Alex?
What up, Pat? What up, dude?
What's up, man?
What up?
Just got the Facciacci second dose,
That's what we need around here, by the way. That would change. Feels like I'm going to try to get on an expedited list to do that. Now, granted, I don't even know if they're possible here in Indy to get on an expedited list. Good news, I'm getting a yes shake.
We got you.
I was told by the boys this morning.
So we do have.
By Bill and Foxy, they told me.
That's good news. So I'm going to get. How do you feel? Do you feel sick?
No, nothing really. The first time I got on the left arm. Got a little sore next day. Today got on my right arm, so I don't get that double punch.
Oh, smart.
And, it's feeling good.
Hey, smart, Alex. I appreciate that. What do you want to talk about?
Well, so I'm going to this UFC event, that super spreader here in Houston, and I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. I was thinking you got to get Ariel Helwani to talk about these couple next UFC events because they are packed.
Okay, I appreciate that. Good call. Ariel Helwani, maybe. I don't know. This past weekend there was a UFC fight, right?
Yeah.
There was a UFC fight. I didn't know who it was. Are they having fights every weekend?
Some guy got kneed in the balls, and it looked like it hurt real bad.
Okay, in UFC?
Yeah.
Can't be kneeing people in the balls. I think that's against the rules.
Yeah, that's a bad look for
Are they having fights every weekend?
More or less.
That's what, because they're trending at some point, and I'm like, oh, they got another one. This past weekend, it was impossible not to watch the Triller thing. Ugh. I donated $50 to that. 1.5 million buys is what Jake Paul has announced on his Instagram. Roughly $75 million generated from that. They're going to have to pay out a lot of people, okay? They decided to put on quite a show with this pay-per-view on Triller. $50, what do you get out of it? Well, you get a chance to listen to Pete Davidson experience different things. He did not not bat 1,000. Okay, Pete Davidson did not bat 1,000. I think he would even say that. But there were some laugh out loud moments from Pete Davidson. You got to see the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair came walking in underneath a garage, watched a smack fight or a slap fight, which was beautiful. You also got to see the debut of Mount Westmore, which was Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg. It was Too Short and I believe E40. E40, I think it was E40 as well. They called themselves Mount Westmore. Like okay, so that was, I guess, the Mount Rushmore of West Coast rappers. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Then there was like a Frank Mir fight against somebody. I fell asleep right in the middle of that. Miss Justin Bieber, I guess, did a 4-song set. Then I watched the fight, obviously, afterwards. A lot of people were wondering questions or whatever. Jake Paul's throwing hands. Ben Askren looked like he didn't know what he was doing. It was quite a night. I enjoyed all the festivities. A lot of people saying they wasted their money or whatever. There has been worse pay-per-views, I'd assume, in the past, but I can see how you might think that the production quality was a little bit lower than it should, but I kind of enjoyed the vibe of the whole thing.
When you fell asleep is when I started watching for free. Actually, I didn't have to. The site that I was on didn't make me pay money.
You didn't donate.
I donated $50 today. You don't like?
I got it. Someone sent me a link that said you don't have to pay.
You don't like Ice Cube coming out and performing? You don't want Justin Bieber to have to earn the money?
I saw a picture of all the cash on the lawn. He seems like he didn't care that I.
Looks like the COVID cowbill.
Yeah, but at least you should maybe think about the performers here. You know, Ben Askren, he took his face and shoved it right into a
one time, yeah, he did. It looked like
guy's a pirate.
Ben Askren had never once stepped into a fighting arena ever.
Boxing, you mean?
Well, no.
Just in
the UFC, like you still have to defend against punching, and it looked like he had never once practiced how to defend against someone throwing a punch.
Hold on, though. In the first, he ducked one early, and then he hit with a left overhand.
Yeah, let's make it look good for a minute, and then all right, now.
Oh, so you are firm in the belief that it was a.
It's a work.
Everybody's saying
it was a work.
Oh, see, everybody's saying it was a work.
Yeah, I'm glad they sold 1.5 million pay-per-views because Ben Askren's his payday for taking the dive has got to be awfully nice.
So he got 500 or 560,000 was his purse, 690 for Jake Paul, and I assume they both got pretty big points on the backside after everybody got paid out. The Biebs, you know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody that performed there. I believe Doja Cat was performing at one point. Every person on the internet was basically performing at one point. I have no idea how Lil Nas X did not get involved in this. I have no idea how he did not get involved in this. But I assumed after I fell asleep he did. I guess he did not. But so they're going to have to pay out everybody there. Then you get points on the backside. Ben Askren made over $1 million, we'd assume, for that. Jake Paul probably over $10 to $15 million. I mean, what a night out of the boys. And you know what? Jake Paul's a problem child, dude. All right. I don't know what the stretching business is, but it seems like when he gets his hands on you, you do go to sleep. Maybe it's a work, maybe it's not. But those two both fall pretty. I mean, if you're just saying, yeah, I'll get concussed for $1 million or whatever, that's very nice of you.
Yeah.
But Ben Askren, it did
sign
look like,
me up.
Oh, you would? Yeah, he hit me right on the button.
It wouldn't even take much, too, because it'd be like my 9th or 10th, so the punch wouldn't even have to hurt that much, but I would get a concussion.
He dead-bodied that thing, though. I mean, he did his body. So if he was selling that, if that was a work or whatever, like everybody's saying, he would have had to work on just locking up and falling face first. And
that's a specialty in MMA, isn't
it?
He's working on taking a special bump.
So then whenever it is a bump, which I understand. So then when he stands up, and does the thing, and then he's like, walk towards me, you just do the stumble forward. Everybody's saying Ben Askren's a dive,
and then
feels like he's.
And then Paul's doing like the let me at him fucking thing when he knows like, hey, this is over.
Hey, listen, Jake Paul, you got to finish a fight when you can. Listen, as somebody who's been in the Oculus numerous times, when you see somebody potentially on their last bear, you got to finish that fight immediately, dude.
He did call out, though, after someone who I know is not going to take a fall, and I believe it's Tyson Fury's half-brother.
What?
Yeah, he called out Tyson Fury's, the Gypsy King's younger half-brother.
Larry Fury.
He's a part of the Fury family? That dad fights, Tyson fights. I assume they've been fighting a long time out there.
He is 21, and he's got a 4-0 record, but I was looking up yesterday like the people that he's fought, and everyone that he's fought, let me see here if I can find their records real quickly. They were 2-126, 2-0-26 in fights.
Hey, let's see, you got to pad that record a little bit. Get those stats up. They know how to play the game. Can't wait to see that. I appreciate what Jake Paul did, though. Made me buy something that got to see a bunch of shit that I've never seen before. Mount Westmore was a nice little introduction to my life. Can't wait for Mount Eastmore. Who are we going to say Mount Eastmore is? And do you let the Midwest get involved? Because is Eminem in that thing? Because it'd probably be like 50. I'd assume T.I. You got to get somebody, Rick Ross maybe out of Florida.
Nas, maybe Hove in there.
Well, I feel like Atlanta wouldn't even.
Oh, yeah, because if you get Jay-Z in there, then it's only 4 people. Who do you not have in there? Oh, no.
Leave it to the people.
And how did they figure out Mount Westmore? How many people are pissed over there? I'd assume there's some.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of left out folks. That
Anyways,
unhappy.
maybe we get a couple let's get a couple mountains out
Mount
there.
Rushmores need to be bigger.
OG's putting together some good songs. I'm all about it. We're back on the other side with Ian Rappaport, NFL Network. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Did you hear everything that was being said whenever you were potentially...
Just from you.
Oh, so you did hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's address it.
Hold on.
All right.
You can be a hater.
No!
And you can change.
Carson.
You can change. We can change.
No, at the moment I was at, okay, Carson. With the Daily Show, the live Daily Show, we can potentially get referred to as prisoners of the moment. You probably did hear me say some things. That was at a much different time.
Backtrack a little.
No,
it's cool. We're here face to face. You can change. People change, all right?
By the way, you are much bigger than I thought you were. Oh, yeah. When Jalen gets drafted there, was that the beginning of it all? Was there a miscommunication? What happened between you and Doug? Because they were saying it was fractured beyond repair. Yeah. What happened there? Is all of that accurate? Is that all kind of getting blown out of proportion? Yeah. And where did it start?
For one, I don't like to ever come out and say reporters aren't telling the truth because I don't. But
Orlovsky does it.
I'm not. I'm not going to dispute every report that's out there. The way the season went obviously wasn't ideal. When Jalen was drafted, that had no bearing on me. I trusted the organization. Okay. I signed that contract. I was devoted to them, and I felt like they were devoted to me. So I trusted the pick. That had no bearing on my confidence or my abilities. The season unfolded not how I would have liked it. Personally, I could have played better. We lost a lot of games at the end and just didn't fall into place the way we wanted. But there's a lot to learn from it, as a man, as a player, and all those things. And I have still a lot of respect for Coach Peterson, and I think without a doubt those reports are very exaggerated. Like I said, I don't hear a lot of them. They come to my attention from my agents or different things.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for him, and it was unfortunate for everybody and how the whole thing kind of just went down.
There was a couple still shots that made its way around where you and Doug Peterson appeared to be giving each other a nasty look.
Yeah, I saw those.
It's not true.
Not true at all.
Oh, you were not saying, I wish you died.
I don't even think I was looking at him in those shots. So I did see that. I'm like, of course, they're going to play this one up. They're going to make a story out of anything. That's how it is. So, but yeah, that's not true at all.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear you weren't giving Doug Peterson death looks. Like, you never thought, oh, football isn't for me. Like, there was never a thought where I don't like football anymore. Or I don't want to be in this bullshit league anymore with this business. There was never a thought like that?
No, don't get me wrong. The way the season went, it was frustrating. And
People
so
have
that's why I stepped away, and it almost rejuvenated me. It's almost like last year pissed me off so much. I want to come back in a different way and do everything I can. I am thrilled to be here and to have this new start, new opportunity. And the community seems amazing. The fan base seems amazing. Like we said, it seems like the perfect fit.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. We've got two people joining us here that I'm very pumped up about. By the way, this song really gets you going. Running down the street.
Does it feel good?
I wonder what you're doing. Moving, and I'll sing you right through it. It's a good song, huh? Isn't it? I mean, it feels pretty good.
Solid groove.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible not to move to it.
I think the European Super League are doing this to this song. All the teams in there, out of their little leagues. Can't play in the World Cup. They're like, we don't care. Just get to go to Dubai. How much more money do they all get?
Said like $100,000 a week or something like that.
They get an extra
He said
$100,000.
$200K a week, I think.
$200K a week.
An extra $200,000 a week?
That's what he said.
An extra $200K in your pockets every week, Pat. An extra $200K, mate.
Imagine the players being like, nope, it's about tradition. It's about legacy. Me mates and me friends mates and me mates mates, we've watched and listened and supported this team for decades. It'll be an extra $200,000 in your pocket guaranteed every week. That could become a tradition too. That's tough, isn't it?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of fucking money. Anyways, join us now. From NFL Network, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport. Ian, have you heard anything about this European Super League at all before we get to your world?
I've asked a couple friends who are into soccer about it. I'm not a soccer guy at all.
Me neither.
But based on my knowledge from the people I've spoken with, trusted sources, friends of mine, this is causing quite the controversy over there.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to make a lot more money, which I don't know a lot about sports or business, but I do know that when the end result has people involved making a lot more money, usually whatever ends up with people making more money is what happens.
And by the way,
whatever
Ian,
we can discuss, like, in the end, they're going to go with whatever makes them richer.
And by the way, Ian, what you just said there was my exact thought as well. And it turns out that you and I aren't the only ones that feel that way. It turns out a lot of Americans feel that way. And it turns out it's the American owners of these teams over there, basically, that were like, hey, we need to do this. Yeah, so it's our fault. It's our fault. Yeah, it is our fault that this is happening. And you and I, yeah, exactly. You and I shared the same thought. It was like, okay, so I'm getting like marquee games. There's going to be more money for everybody. Here we go. How you doing? That sounds good. And then all the people in England are like, you stupid wanker, you have no idea about any tradition. It's like, I got smartened up, Ian. It is going to be a long fight over there because of the amount of tradition of the beautiful game. Let's move along, though. Joining us as well, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Hey, AJ.
Hey. Way to go, AJ. Great to have you. Thank you for joining us. Let's get to this conversation. Ian, today, Trey Lance's pro day. Is there any chance that Trey Lance potentially throws his way to number 3 today, with all the reports that Shanahan and the Niners were a part of setting up this pro day? They asked Trey Lance to start working with a certain quarterback coach so they can learn more about how is this thing developed, and is Trey Lance potentially going over top of Justin Fields now, who is the odds-on favorite to go to the Niners at 3 that they just traded up for?
Yeah, first of all, I don't know how everyone comes up with the odds-on favorite, like the actual odds for when a guy would get drafted, the over-unders, whatever. Like I'm not in tune to that, but for Justin Fields to now be just the odds-on favorite at number 3 seems wild to me. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, it's to me, I know the organization likes Mac Jones a lot. I don't know for sure it's going to be him, but I don't know what's happened in the last 2 weeks to make Justin Fields just be the favorite, whatever that even means. But as far as Trey Lance goes, I mean, I think he's got a chance. I know he's someone the organization likes. He is incredibly smart. 49ers obviously value someone who's incredibly smart. He's also very mobile. So in their offense, he would fit perfectly well. And, you know, I've heard some of the things that you mentioned about, you know, because of him working with John Beck, you know, the 49ers were involved. I think the main thing is the 49ers can get really good information from John Beck. Him and Kyle Shanahan are close. He actually works with a lot of the top quarterbacks as well. So I think the main thing is whatever they want to know about Lance, they can get. And they will ask him to do some things at his pro day today that are specific to them. They will see it, and then they'll use the next say 9 days to hone in on a decision.
What do you think the Niners are looking for when they're looking at all these quarterbacks? I mean, it's a giant decision they have to make, and it doesn't seem like an easy one at all. Is there anything that you could single out that they're looking for that they need?
Well, I mean, as an organization, there's the typical scouting, and there's so much that goes into it, the interviews and the measurables and the workouts and all that. And then this really is an organization where Kyle Shanahan has a lot to say. And I don't want to say it's coach driven, but he clearly has his fingerprints on personnel decisions, similar to a lot of the sort of successful franchises. So in my head, when I think of a quarterback that the 49ers are going to take, I think of one that Kyle Shanahan would want to coach. Like, who would he want to be on the field for the next, let's say not this year, because that'll probably be Garoppolo, but let's say the next 9 years or 10 years after that? Who's the quarterback that he's going to want to send out onto the field for 4th and 2 with the game on the line? That, to me, is when I try to come to grips with the 49ers decision. That's kind of what I come down to. And that's why, to me, Mac Jones still makes a lot of sense. He's got incredible recall. He's got a photographic memory. I know the Shanahans really like him. To me, I know there's a lot to kind of put together there.
He has a photographic memory? How do we know that?
That's what I hear from reliable sources with deep knowledge of his memory.
Okay, so Justin Fields, allegedly, the Goldman standard, Dr. Goldman, who's got 2 PhDs, allegedly, Justin Fields also has a potential, photographic memory. You hear the same thing or no?
I don't know that he has a photographic memory, but I do know, and the sort of IQ test that they've given, I believe Fields did very well. And it's so interesting to me why he's gotten sort of pushed down a little bit in this process. I've talked to, I think by now almost all the teams, decision makers. I haven't heard anyone really criticize Fields almost at all. Psyche-wise, no real criticism. He's smart. He's had unbelievable success. Some of the games they watch, it makes people's head, you watch him against Clemson a couple years back, and you're like, well, that's a perfectly quarterback game. There's a lot to like with Fields. I just don't know why he has received the criticism he has. He's been inconsistent, yes. He's also played against the best competition. Trey Lance has played in 1 game, which was kind of up and down. So I don't know why we all decided that Fields was the one that's going to get all the criticism this time around.
Yeah, Trey Lance in his 1 game in 2021 due to COVID ran for 140-some yards, but also threw his first ever college football pick. We're talking to Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet, right. Host of a once very popular show that will come back after the draft.
Waiting
we
on
believe.
pins and needles.
Rap Sheet and Friends. We're hoping that show comes back. It was canceled. It was absolutely canceled. Diggs, what do you have?
Rap Sheet. Some say you guys ruined the draft. Some say you guys help it. Are you going to be tweeting out picks before they are announced by Raj next week?
I will not. Not only am I not allowed to tip picks, I also don't believe in it. So it's very nice when my philosophical beliefs align with that of my employer.
Oh, nice.
Because to me, tweeting out the tipping picks is kind of like watching a game live and tweeting it before people have the 7-second delay at home. It's like, let them watch the ball go through the hoop.
No spoilers.
You know what I mean? So
no spoilers.
Also, it's really just like a contest with reporters. We all can do it. So I don't think it's that cool, honestly. So I will not be tipping. If there's a trade, what I'm hearing, obviously I'll be sharing that, but I will not be tipping picks.
Are you hearing any rumors for draft night yet? Or are people starting to maybe say, hey, we might get active?
I'm hearing some rumors, yeah. I would say the biggest thing for me is, who's going to go at number 4 is probably the biggest question, right? Because if the Falcons take a quarterback, then it makes the draft go one way. If the Falcons don't take a quarterback, then it makes the draft go a completely different way. Let's say the Falcons take a quarterback at 4, then someone's probably trading up for the 5th quarterback, and then who's that going to be? Is it going to be Denver? Is it going to be New England? Is it going to be Washington? Who trades up for the 5th quarterback is interesting. And then if there are 2 quarterbacks available as you get into past the top 5, then it gets really, really interesting because that means one probably slides out of the top 10, and then which team in the teens comes to get him. So that's kind of, I would say, of all the unknowns that I have, that's probably the biggest.
Ian, I know there's reports that the Falcons sitting there number 4. Their owner Arthur Blank is what does it say? Infatuated with this quarterback class. Like, how does stuff like that get out, and do you believe it? I don't know if you're the one that reported that. You may have.
It probably was you. No, it wasn't.
No, it was not me. Peter King reported, but I do believe it's true. And the way it was explained to me was Arthur Blank wanted to make sure that whoever he hired as coach and GM, and obviously he's got a coach and GM now, took a hard look at the quarterbacks, because you hope you're never picking number 4 ever again. So it's not like he told them to pick a quarterback, but he needed them to examine it very, very closely just in case. Because if you find someone you like now, you take him at 4, he could sit for a couple of years, and then that you just have your franchise quarterback. So that's kind of my understanding there, is that Arthur Blank wanted to make sure they did all of the quarterback research, which, I mean, just Trey Lance's pro day is going on right now, and Falcons Brass is there seeing it in person.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, pal. It sounds like there's potential, a bunch of bullshit that's about to take place in your life. We appreciate following along. Well, who knows? Everything's a lie. Feels like everything's a lie, Rap, at this point. It does. It feels like everything's a lie. I have no idea what's real, what's not real. I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest. I'm kind of sick of dealing with it right now.
I kind of like it. Draft is the best for me. Now, I take very good notes to see who lies to me, who doesn't, and I go through everything after the draft. But it is fun, though, because I've had very good sources tell me they know a team is taking this guy. And not that I would report it anyway, but I'm like, okay, we'll see how good your sources are, because that's what this time of year is about. It's really, to me, it's kind of fun.
Okay, so
I'm sorry that you hate it.
Well, for me, you guys put me in just bad position after bad position every day with your reported news. And then I, tend to overreact to things. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, the exact opposite happens. And it's like, oh, what was this all about? It's like, well, I'm just telling you what my sources tell me. But now I'm learning that my sources potentially have sources that are potentially giving information. So I don't know who to believe. Move the Sticks, Daniel Jeremiah. He told us the other day that he had a conversation with somebody that was within the Bears organization that told him there's no chance we draft Mitchell Trubisky. This person said, no chance, no chance. Then they draft Mitchell Trubisky. He goes back and he's like, I'm sorry, I did not know, or whatever. There's a lot of that happens around teams, huh? Is there like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, rest in peace to their marriage, but whatever. When they had their kid, they were leaking fake names through their inner circle, and then whichever name made it out to the tabloids was like, okay, you're fucking out. Let's cancel that person. Let's cancel that person. Do you think that is happening in the NFL, where like misleading messages are even sent through their own organization to leak different shit? Do you ever get that feeling?
I've not gotten it specifically like that, but there are definitely some things where I would say, like, all right, how true is this? Like, yes, it's true, but what does it really mean? Like, I would say last year, the Giants, and I reported it and it was true, but it didn't mean anything. The Giants were having quarterback conversations. They interviewed some of the top quarterbacks. I think Herbert was the one that I had heard. And it didn't mean anything. They were still, high on Daniel Jones, and he's still their quarterback. They didn't take a quarterback, but they just wanted to investigate. And I found out, I reported it. It was true, and it didn't mean anything. And it was like a perfect draft rumor, because it was true, but it didn't it didn't tip anyone's hand, and it kind of was a little bit of a draft misdirection. I would say this about the Bears, by the way, talk about Daniel Jeremiah. I talked to someone who was very involved in the offense, 5 years ago when they were going to take Trubisky, and Trubisky was, for many people in the organization, not their number one. And what happened was, obviously, as we know now, Ryan Pace was making the decision, and it was his, and he just didn't share his evaluations with others. So people can tell you info, but unless you're getting it from the guy who's making the decision, it's not that valuable.
Yeah, Kevin Costner, he had that Post-it note. You know what I mean? That's the person making the decisions. Everybody else is just kind of along for the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, we follow this man at Rap Sheet, NFL Network analyst and insider. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rap. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, good show today out of you, Ian.
Yeah, killing it as usual. Bye.
Woo! Oh, okay. So he said, yeah, I know, is what he just said to me.
Classic sales. You're going to get past the gatekeeper to the decision maker.
Yeah, hey, listen, I need to talk to whoever's talking to you. Who are you going to go talk to about what I'm talking to you right now? And then whenever you go talk to them, tell them I'd like to talk to them. That is that's sales, you said?
Yeah.
So whenever you just cold call, this is when you cold call folks?
Get past the gatekeeper, need to talk to decision maker.
It's also, by the way, you can just do that in regular life here. Middle management is maybe the worst place to ever get stuck at if you have to get anything done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I understand you've been given a role because you've been around here long enough, pal. But I need to know whoever you're going to run this decision up to. I think I could explain it a little bit better.
They think they have power, but they don't. So you get stuck in the mud for fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah. By the way, you have time invested here. You don't got power. The person you're going to go talk to has power. And I would like to talk to that person potentially to lay out what I'm thinking instead of you doing it. Well, that's what I'm here for. Yeah. Well, thanks, Buffer. I appreciate that. We got to get to the gatekeeper. What's going on, AJ? There's a gatekeeper. How you doing, AJ Hawk?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How's it going over there? It sounds quiet without some of the boys there.
Yeah. I mean, they were at a super spreader this weekend. I can't get COVID right now. I can't get COVID. It's literally not because. And listen, maybe I'll die if I get it or whatever. I cannot have a COVID positive test right now. I completely forgot about this life. We were doing it with NXT when I was going on the run. I was getting tested like 3 times a week, 2 times a week because it was delays in responses and how long they were coming back or whatever. But every other decision that gets made, it's like, oh my God, if I get a negative or if I get a positive COVID test, there's a lot of people that are in shit. It's like, will I die? Maybe. Will I be sick? Potentially. But what else? Oh, it fucks up a lot of things. So it's just, it's people have to live their lives as well, though. So I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of in I'm in a very interesting spot here, Mr. Hawk.
You are. I didn't think about that until you mentioned it earlier, but I would assume you're going to head in there Friday for SmackDown, and Vince is just going to have a nice syringe, just going to jab your arm with the vaccination as soon as you get there.
I should get one right now. They did not, by the way, there has been no conversation from them that I said, like, you need to be this or this. There was mask wearing unless you were potentially in an area everybody in there had to get tested and everything like that. I mean, it felt like they were trying to go above and beyond, and there's a lot of spacing. You don't really see a lot of people in a lot of places. So it feels like, that whole thing, but nobody was like, yeah, you go get the vaccine or whatever. You won't be allowed to be around here. But my quick intuitiveness from looking around, it was like, feels like this would all be much easier if I just got a vaccine. I didn't have to just sweat my ass off while that COVID result is coming back. It is terrible. All right, so Pierre Garçon signed me up for Pierre Garçon and I were teammates. We were hanging out a lot. It was probably my rookie year, if I had to guess. I was driving down the street and I heard via the news that Pierre Garçon had signed me up for like a free HIV and STD testing event or whatever. Yeah. And the people could win a date with me and Pierre Garçon if you go and take one of these tests or whatever. I'd learned about this via the radio while it was on. I was like, what are we signing up for here? He was like, oh, they're doing a free test. They want to help people promote getting tested and everything like that. We're doing it for free or whatever.
For HIV?
It was for HIV and for STDs. It was for AIDS, okay. HIV, and for STDs. It was just basically like a, hey, come get tested type initiative, which, by the way, I'm for. Like, hey, I'm all about it. And I said, I didn't know about this. They didn't tell you? I was like, no. He's like, oh, they were supposed to tell you. That's on me or whatever. I'm like, okay. So I go down there, I walk in there, and they're like, Pierre and Pat are here, and there's like a round of applause. They're like, they will now go get tested, and then they will come back. Okay, so we walk out a door. There's this entire event happening. I get tested. It's like a 10 to 15 minute thing where you got to like wait to see if you have something inside of you that would lead for them to have to do more testing potentially. So that 10 to 15 minutes, I'm thinking to myself like, oh, I have no idea. I don't think so. But then you walk right back in to where all these people were, and it's like, okay, you get like this card basically that says like, hey, I don't got it or whatever, you know what I mean? It feels like every single time I get tested, I'm scared to death. I'm like, maybe I do have it. And then when it doesn't, it's like, thank God. So I'm trying to get the vax thing expedited here, I think, so I don't have those moments. My heart gets like real racy. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck everything up right now.
Every single time. I had to get tested before went to honeymoon and on the way back from honeymoon, and that's
scary as hell. Wow, scary as hell. You think?
Is anyone set up there, Pat, to be a backup for you or an alternate in case you do test positive?
I do not know, but I do know last week there was a couple texts between me and Michael Cole. Like, could you imagine if we put this whole thing out?
It would be a nightmare, I think. So I don't know. I'm not going to be in that position. I will go back to full hermit life, which is basically what I live. And I just have to be smart here for the sake of everybody. And I know people got to live their life. I just have to make sure I am kind of in a bubble for at least a little bit until I get the Facciacci.
Makes sense. When is you're down in Florida doing SmackDown? When are they letting fans back in? We've seen other events with them.
Yeah, WrestleMania had 25,000. I don't know. I'm not privy to any of those conversations. They don't really tell me anything, by the way. It's just like, need you here at this time. Makeup's there. Your face doesn't look good. Haircut's there. Fix that whole thing. I got to go do a Spaces with Aaron Rodgers. I'll host it, by the way. I thought he was hosting it. Here's some questions you can ask him if you'd like. They emailed me. Okay, I'll read these word for word, I guess. Then I got to go back downside, and then it just kind of starts. So I don't know anything. I know absolutely nothing, but I do know the Facciacci would probably make me not be as sweaty for the results of that test. Can I still fail a COVID test if I get the vax?
I know you could still get COVID potentially. It's like 95% or something like that. So 95% effective. So
you might not have to get tested if you get the vaccine. The PGA Tour just said that they're encouraging players, I guess, and caddies, and if you get vaccinated, then they don't have to get tested like week of the event.
So the new test, not that bad, by the way. It's just a little nasal swab, barely. It's much different than what we had to do for NXT.
That first one was so brutal.
Much different than what we had to do for NXT. I mean, that was like 2-3 times a week. We're just getting the bongos played on our goddamn nasal cavities. They were just shoving it up in there. I was like, is that the only place we can find it? I'd almost rather.
There's one other spot they can find it.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Can you just give me something? I'll do this myself or whatever. Because it was just like uncomfortable. I cried every single time. I mean, I was crying every single time it happened.
You're an emotional guy, man. That's all right.
Well, it's not just because I think they actually pushed the tear ducts whenever they were up in there, like testing on things. They're like, get the tears out of his face or whatever. So the new test is not bad at all. But, man, the worry of, it's going to be a positive, I'm going to ruin everything is very real.
And the old ones used to be a full 2-day wait, and that was the worst.
Yeah, 2 days of like, I'm going to fuck this up for sure. It's going to we actually we didn't get results back before we got on the plane one time. We landed. Yeah, it could have been a waste of like $25,000, $30,000. We landed, and then literally as we land, we get an email. It's like, you are good. It's like, thank God. This could have been a no. That's why we started getting it 2-3 times a week, because we didn't know when the results were going to come in. Let's go to Nick in Tennessee. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, Pat. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Not too shabby. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm working, but I'm working from home, so it works out.
Hey, I like that. What do? You caller, answerer, seller?
I work in contracts, boring stuff.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. You're none of the three things I said. What do you want to talk about, though, Nick?
I just want to let you guys know Nigel sort of steered you towards Germany for the Euros, but you got to be careful with some of that because a lot of their best players for a lot of these countries play in teams that are going to be in the Super League, so they'd still be in a bad position.
Did Nigel lie to us? He didn't sound like he'd lie to us with that British accent.
Most of the top German players play in the Bundesliga, though.
Did you listen to that guy?
I honestly just heard the very first part when he was awesome from the jump. His first answer, I think, when you asked about your tweet, and then I didn't get to see much after.
It was a fucking shit tweet, wasn't it? That's what he said to me. That was the first thing he said to me. I'm like, all right, Nigel, I get it. I've been hearing this all morning. Let's go to Rico in Canada. What's going on, Rico?
Hey, Pat. Hey, AJ. Hey, boys. How we doing today?
Hey, pal. What do you want to talk about?
Did you see that fucking Triller event on the weekend there, pal?
I did. We talked about it a little bit earlier. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I came home from work a long shift. I forgot that I took LSD, apparently, because as soon as I get on there, they got a fucking 8-0 professional fighting Raycon, the earbuds. Apparently he's a reggae singer. And then we got fucking Snoop Double G fucking smoking so much dank. Everyone there was probably high. De La Hoya was fucking off.
Slater was. AC was not.
I forgot that De La Hoya was.
De La Hoya did. Hey, he did commentary during one of the fights, bro. I couldn't. I woke my wife up because of it to have her listen to it.
Yeah, he was interesting, huh? Oh, De La Hoya. I forget. Golden Boy, right? Is that him? So he's made a lot of money.
Yes.
He's made a lot of money.
Made a lot, yes.
What's that mean?
Yeah, it's all about how much you save, I think. Dana White has publicly mentioned a few times that Oscar may need some money, which I'm not saying he does. I'm very entertained. I wish Oscar would have been on there for every fight.
Oscar and Dana have a pretty noted beef, right? I assume that's pretty loud. Oscar speaking, though, I thought to myself, oh, this guy, good businessman. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. He brought he's fighting in July, I think, or June, he announced. And then he said he's going to put him down, whoever it was. And I was like, all right, shout out. I didn't mind that Triller event. It was the most ridiculous thing of all time. Definitely. I could see how people are pissed off about $50, but Justin Biebs did a full 4-song set. I mean, are we not entertained? What do we got going on?
Like, how much did they have to pay all these musical acts? They had so many big time production pieces, and Bieber comes in and does 4 songs. Snoop's there the whole time. I'm thinking all right, is this just they just want to hit the ground running and let people know this is going to be our biggest event so far, so we're going to spend all of our money right here?
Well, Triller Fight Club, I think, is a brand that they're launching, I would assume, and going to continue to build, if I had to guess. They netted or grossed $75 million. Let's assume they netted at least 10 to 15, maybe even 20, even if they paid everybody at their highest amount. I would assume they made a lot of fucking money. Yeah. Congrats to them. Hey, that's what the fight game is, promotion. And they just made a shit ton of it. A lot of people saying Ben Askren took a dive. A lot of people saying he was not trying to block his face from punches. I disagree. Early, he ducked one and then sent one back, but it seems like it's unanimous in this office, AJ. Everybody thinks Ben took a dive. Jake Paul, the problem child, still undefeated. He's going to continue to grow. And if they're going to put on festivals, music festivals with slapboxing, fighting, and Ric Flair, I'll watch it every fucking time.
More slapboxing.
Howard's, the one guy kept flinching. They needed to stop that guy from flinching. He should have been knocked out early. This is the Pat McAfee Show. 6 minutes. We'll see you on the other side. If something happens one time, anomaly. Happens 2 times, it's like, oh, okay, maybe. But whenever there's a trend of 18 plus, 20 plus things being predicted, you got to go like, hey, Groening, the gig's up. We know. You're a time traveler.
Just tell us.
Bro, I just want to talk to you. I got so many questions. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember back in the day how tight Siegfried and Roy were with their tigers? It was like every main story was like, oh, these tigers are the best behaved animals on earth, blah, blah, blah. Simpsons in 1993 said the tiger is going to turn. This little friendly tiger is going to become an enemy of Siegfried and Roy quickly, and it's going to happen. 2003, it actually happened. Autocorrect errors, 1994. Before you could even play Snake on the gray little box phone, they predicted that autocorrect will happen on your phone. Are you kidding me? Didn't happen until 2007. FaceTime, 1995. Not even a thought. I don't even know if anybody knew what the fuck the internet was.
Oh, that's that little mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At.
See, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. No,
what is internet anyway?
In 1995, they said, don't worry, you'll be carrying around a device where you will be face-to-face with somebody on the opposite side of Earth. 1995, they said that. 2010, it happened. Faulty voter machines. 2008, they predicted it. 2012, it became the forefront of conversation in a big, big way. I assume these voter machines have been up in question for a long, long time, but they just knew that it was going to come to fruition in 2012.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
The God particle. Now, this is the big one. Ty Schmidt did research. He said the God particle is the absolute reason why he is 1,000% a time traveler. Homer Simpson got up there like fucking Matt Damon in that movie where they have that
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, and draws up this equation for what the God particle is, which what is the God particle?
Yeah, it's basically this equation that essentially explains how the universe was created.
And they did that in 1998, and the exact equation happens in 2012.
That's unheard of.
14 years ahead of time. They got Homer Simpson up there looking like that goddamn janitor from Harvard, solving equations up on a chalkboard, and 14 years later, it's like, yeah, that's actually how the universe was founded. It's like, wait a fucking minute, little comedy writer with a goddamn yellow cartoon, bro. That's insane. The NSA spying scandal. Everybody knew that the Patriot Act was in existence, but nobody had a clue that NSA literally knows everything about you. Every dick you've sent has been seen by some government agency, but it wasn't always like that. We didn't know that everything was getting spied on, Sean. Nobody knew that.
I didn't know.
They predicted that in 2007, 2013 it happened.
No, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
Smartwatches, 1995, they said it would happen. 2014, they came to fruition. America's Ebola outbreak, 1997, they said it. 2014. Do you remember when Ebola hit? It was like, it was literally
hospitals like shutting down.
Oh, they had people wearing like hazmat suits, carrying people around because they were scared Ebola was possible. In the modern world, this was happening. Years and years and years and years ago, Matt Groening said this is going to happen. The FIFA corruption scandal, 2014, they called it. 2015, it came all crashing down. Everybody knew they were getting their pockets greased, making decisions, sending a World Cup to a goddamn desert. Matt Groening said it's going to happen. It happened. Greece's debt default. 2012, they called it. 2015, it happened. So many countries out there, by the way.
They picked Greece?
The exact country to happen. Trump's presidency. 2000, they called it. 2016, it came to fruition. The Simpsons called this. President Trump out there. And everybody probably looked at, those Simpsons guys are so funny. Bang, 16 years later, it is about to happen. It goes down. Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, 2012, they called it. 2017. I mean, I think we all knew that she was born this way. She would probably get the halftime show at some point, but to the details that they had. These are not coincidences. Coincidenci. I don't know how you pronounce it.
How the fuck do they know this stuff? It's got to be time travel.
Matt Groening is a time travel. I have so many fucking questions. Disney's takeover of Fox, 1998, they said it. 2017, it happens. The Shard in London, which is a building behind Big Ben, I guess. Is that right?
Apparently, that's what Google search said.
1995, 2009, it comes to fruition. Robot librarians, 95, they called it. 2016, it happens. The censorship of Michelangelo's David, 1990, 2016, it happened. Three-eyed fish from the fucking nuclear waste place.
In Japan.
Three-eyed fish comes to fruition in 2001. Matt Groening did it in 1990. 9/11. 9/11. They called that happening. If you do recall, planes going into buildings, they said it in 1997, 2001, it happens. The Syrian uprising, everything that's going on in the Middle East has all been talked about on The Simpsons. And then he created another show called Futurama. That is huge. He created another show like, listen, here's me rubbing it in the face that's where I could go if I have to. I have so many questions for Matt Groening, and guess what, Matt Groening? The gig's up. We know. I'm all in on you, Matt. And I'm a fan, by the way, aren't we? We're big fans.
I'm a huge fan.
If you want to travel to future me or current me or past me and say what's up, I think we would all be appreciated.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Hour 3 here on Monday, April 19th. SiriusXM and YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show will begin right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. AJ Hawk here. How you doing, Mr. Hawk?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. What did you do this weekend? Honestly, after everything that you had to going up, the build up to SmackDown, the announcement. No, I was gonna say I assumed you just hung out and slept and farted around through your barn and found some awesome toys that you had bought over the years.
Yeah, I was just hanging out the house. The spray tan settled in, by the way.
Looks good now. Looks natural.
Well, it settled in on like Saturday. I was, because I got it an hour before the show or whatever started on Friday. I was thinking it would just settle in throughout the show. I'd be able to shower, and I would figure it did not do such a thing, actually. It didn't settle in until about Saturday morning when I woke up. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? We got back about 1:32 a.m. or whatever. A lot of chilling Saturday. Then I was going to get through chilling again, and my lady and I wanted to walk around, the property, do a little walk around because there's some winds and there's potentially some trees. I want to check on the animals, the barn, the fencing, everything like that. And I went into the barn of bad decisions. I saw a mountain bike we were given for the Sugar Bowl my freshman year. I had no idea I still had that. I cannot believe that's still fucking there.
But the only thing I saw next to it, you had one of those 6-wheel deals that can go on land and water, right?
8, please. It's an aquatic vehicle. It's an 8-wheel some bitch, and it does have the 2 steering things inside of it. It is on land and in sea, unless you don't plug a very important plug in the back. You take that thing into a pond, it will also sink like a fucking bag of rocks if you don't have that in. Tim ended up down there at the bottom. It was a wild time to be alive with that thing.
Man, I'm sure that thing doesn't run because you haven't looked at it in 6 years, but if you need somewhere to store it, I'll take it.
You want to buy it?
No, I'll just take it, though, because I know you're not going to use it.
Oh, so you just want to steal from me?
No, I mean, I feel like if you need to get rid of it, I would love to have it.
I don't need to get rid of it, but I would sell it. I mean, if you potentially
How much?
Make an offer. What do you think it's worth?
$250.
See? You're never going to fucking see that thing.
All right. We'll see. We'll negotiate.
There's 3 or 4 things down in that Barn of Bad Decisions that a neighbor who knew I had to drive past his house to get to the Indianapolis Colts complex back whenever I lived in my second home or whatever. He was just a collector of these things. He would get them souped up. If you see on top of that thing, it says Mac Attack on it. Okay, his name had nothing to do with Mac. He had that up there for me to drive by to see it for sale. I pulled over, I bought it. He drove it over there. He said, look, it already has your name on it. Another motorcycle he put up there kind of souped up. Hey, you want this? Yep. He put the for sale sign. So what you did to me, this guy actually did. And I would always he was just setting me up. It was like a Meekham's auto auction in a front yard while I drove by every single day. It was tough not to buy everything.
Talk about making the best of your opportunities. If you're that guy, are you kidding me? He knows that you're living there and you're driving by and you just cannot help yourself.
Yeah.
So you put your name, but I won't put your name on something, any of these cool toys. So what do you do? Just stop, put your window down. Hey, how much, bub?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Roll it down. How much for the thing? What is it? First of all, because I thought it was a tank. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a tank. I wrote down, I say, what is it? He goes, it's an aquatic vehicle. It goes on land and sea. It can float. And then that's when he went to look, it already says Mac Attack across the top. It's like it was made for you. How much? He told me a price. I said, sounds good. Go ahead and take it down to the house. I'll bring back the money or the check later. And that's how it happened. And we continue to do that with numerous things. There was some shit he put out there that I think he misread me, but then he knew when he hit on it. That guy got a few $1,000s from me. It was a good little business.
Smart.
That guy's awesome. Alex Smith retired today. Any thoughts on that? I gave an entire take about what an absolute legend, what he had to come back through. Rehab stinks. Couldn't even imagine for a hamstring as a shin. Congrats on a job well done, Alex Smith. Diggs thinks he's probably doing TV. You think the same?
I could see him being good on TV. Yeah, I don't know where it would be, or I don't know if he wants to take maybe a year off before he gets into it. But I am sure there are plenty of networks that are reaching out to him for some kind of role on TV.
He's very handsome.
Very smart and a good dude. Like I don't think I've ever come across anybody that has said anything bad about him.
And I think that's why the GQ article comments where he was like, well, Washington didn't really want me to succeed, or however it came out or whatever, probably taken out of context, because everything I've heard about Alex Smith is he's awesome. But then Ron Rivera came out and was like, I was a little bit scared. Every time he went out there, I thought there was a chance he was going to break his leg again. You could see how Ron felt that way. But if you're Alex, you could potentially be a little pissed off about, hey, I've worked my ass off to get here. Let's have a little bit of respect for this whole thing.
Yeah, I think TV is going to be a good spot. Oh, if he wants to. Obviously, he doesn't have to, but I would doubt that he's going to jump into coaching right away.
I always thought Aaron Rodgers would hate him, but I guess he doesn't.
No, I think Aaron loves him.
Yeah, Aaron likes him. I think it was one of my first questions when Aaron came on the show. You hate Alex Smith? So no, same, very like-minded guys, actually. Big fan of his, because Alex went one, right? Mm-hmm. Aaron was supposed to. Yeah. Then Aaron just fell all the way into the 20s or whatever.
To his team.
To the Green Bay Packers, yeah, exactly. And the Niners were his team, yeah. See, it would be hard for me not to hate him. I guess Aaron did not, though. That's big heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I think it's hard. If you're around Alex, it's hard to hate the guy, I think. One of those guys.
I think so, too. Patrick Mahomes talked about how he, to get him a Super Bowl ring, baby. Basically, this guy helped me out a lot my rookie year.
Yeah, Alex, what a weird situation for Alex. Because, he didn't know that, nobody really knew that Mahomes was going to become Mahomes and be a guy that, changes the way the quarterback position is almost played.
And evaluated now from now on. Now, I'm not saying that there hasn't been players that have been able to do what Patrick Mahomes has been able to do, but at his young age, I mean, what he has accomplished is insane, and he didn't even play his rookie year until the last game against the Denver Broncos. And the only reason why he was playing is because the team had been doing so well
Alex Smith has been playing MVP football so well. This was the year they beat the dog shit out of the Patriots opening week or whatever. The fact that that team was going so good and Alex Smith was playing so well, it led to the point that they could rest their starters in the last week against the Denver Broncos. Patrick Mahomes goes on there, dominates. That offseason, they go on a playoff run, they lose that offseason. Alex Smith is getting sent to Washington. We're going Patrick Mahomes. I was like, are you kidding? Alex Smith is playing the best football he has ever played in his entire career. He was absolutely dominant in that Andy Reid offense. They were balling. This is dumb. And then that's like, well, just wait until you see what we got back here. I got some text messages from some Chiefs that I know, and they're like, wait till you see this dude. Wait till you see this dude. I'm like, yeah, just cut an MVP, so get the fuck out of here. I assume he's pretty good. Alex Smith then goes to Washington, gets hurt. The whole story changes. But Patrick and everybody said that his influence on that team was a heavy one, and obviously I assume that rings true. Washington football team has released a statement about Alex Smith. We want to congratulate Alex Smith on a tremendous career. He accomplished the greatest comeback in professional sports history and was a huge part of our team's success this past season. Since the day Alex arrived here in Washington, he has represented this organization with class and dignity both on and off the field. We witnessed every step of Alex's comeback firsthand, and he personifies perseverance, strength, and the will to never give up. The support he received from his family, friends, teammates, and club medical staff throughout his comeback journey was truly unmatched. We will always be, that's funny, they kind of put themselves over there in the middle of that. We will always be touched by the strength, courage, and support that Elizabeth and her family showed throughout Alex's recovery and comeback. We wish the Smith family all the best in the next chapter of their lives. Very nice of Washington to say, hey, we appreciate you. I guess the owner has come out now and said something. Oh, that was the Snyder family statement? That wasn't the Washington football team.
Dan and Tanya on behalf of the team.
Dan and Tanya on behalf of the team. Statement from Dan and Tanya on the retirement via the Washington football team. Okay, so this is not Ron Rivera or Jason. All right, this is the ownership, Dan and Tanya. Okay, smart to get Tanya involved, by the way. I didn't even know she exists. Hey, it's smart to get Tanya Snyder involved. Maybe she becomes the face of this whole thing, and Dan just kind of drifts into the background, like, everybody hates me. Let's keep this thing moving in a little bit more positive fashion.
Yeah, but Dan Snyder, didn't he buy out some of the minority owners of the team?
All of them.
So he has complete control of the team?
Yeah, everybody thought he was on his way out. And remember, the minority ownership share was trying to force him out last year because of conduct detrimental or something like that. And this was after the first expose. Before the second expose, they were trying to buy him out. They get past that. They move into a football season. A lot is learned. They bring in a new president, new coach, new everything, try to turn that place around. And Dan's like, oh, you think I forgot you trying to run me fucking out of here. You try to buy me out. No. I'd buy you out. He bought 100% of that thing. Is it to sell outright, or is it so he can tell everybody to go fuck themselves? I think it's the latter at this point.
Yeah, it's got to be one or the other, you would think. But why would Dan Snyder want to get out now? He's like, hey, we have some hope now. Like, there's hope for our team. Their defense is awesome. They're very young, and their offense is getting better and better. And if they figured out what Fitzmagic comes down there, what's a good season look like for them? If you can get them 12 wins?
I mean, Taylor Heineke as well. The tag team of Heineke and Fitzmagic might be too much for any team to really be able to bear. I mean, think of those two. Now, is Heineke going to start and Fitz is going to come in the Mariano Rivera role like he has done last year? Or will Fitz start that thing and say, Heineke, here you go. This is how you do what I've been able to do, which is win games for teams for years and years. But they still got Chase Young playing on the defensive side of the ball. Terry McLaurin's making plays for him out there. That team was a good team. If you're Dan Snyder, you don't want to get out now because of how the team's going to be. I just always assumed he was going to be forced out. I always assumed that the other owners are going to be like, nah. But I guess the other owners were like, no, we'll give you money actually to get everybody else out. The public perception of him seems to be much different than the inside the NFL perception of him, which is wild to me.
Well, you keep Dan Snyder around if you're the other owners because, hey, look at that fucking guy. Ignore what we're doing wrong. That guy's bad.
Yeah, you're 100%
Absolutely.
right. You're 100% right, I guess, right?
That's like, why wouldn't they want him around? Because he takes a lot of the attention off of them.
And if a bear comes, you don't have to be the fastest person. You just have to be faster than the slowest person. Yep. And this is kind of like Dan Snyder. I just got to be better than Dan Snyder is what every other owner's thinking. Whoa. Jesus. Imagine how Dan Snyder feels.
I'm the laughing side. He's worth $1 bazillion.
Yeah.
How much do you think Bezos would offer to buy that thing?
Man, what, $3.5 bill, $4 bill, maybe?
I would assume for Snyder to sell it, it's going to have to be a lot more than that. I would assume.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Don't you think this guy has owned this forever now, hasn't he? It's been a long time. He's been through a lot with that thing. I mean, he's gone down with his ship, and he seems to not care about anything if these exposés are real. He's a fucking out of control guy.
Forbes has him worth $3.5 billion.
So you probably have to at least double that, right? If you think about future earnings and everything like that. So $7 billion. Bezos could do that, by the way, like that, not even know it.
What do you have to tell his bank?
Wouldn't even have to tell his bank. Would not even get a call. Like, you get a text message like, did you confirm it? I don't even think Bezos would get that for a $5 to $7 billion purchase at this point.
No, he wouldn't even have to probably like authorize the wire that goes to buy the team. His ex-wife could buy the team easily too.
Why doesn't she get in there with that science teacher? That's who she just married, I think, or science teacher.
Is she remarried already?
Yeah, she remarried a science teacher at their kid's school or whatever, and they can go run some science experiments just on an NFL team. Fucking do it. And allegedly, behind closed doors, there's another team that's maybe up for sale as well, which is the Los Angeles Chargers. They got a whole family dispute going on. I mean, there's drama up there with them billionaires, dude. You don't get into college, you make some fake $197.8 billion. That's as of right now, too. Who knows? Let my wife continue to log into Amazon for another 25 minutes. This thing will go up another thing. He could buy that team. Hey, I'll offer you $20 billion and have $177 billion still left in the bank account. Jesus, good for Jeff, dude.
I mean,
Jeff was sitting in that stupid room with that spray paint shit behind him. $197.8 billion fucking dollars, dude. That's insane.
No one has made my life easier than Jeff Bezos.
Hey, he really has. I mean,
he's changed everything. He's changed how we do everything, I feel like.
Every single business, he goes, I want it. Well, what about the grocery stores? It's a little mom and pop shop. Fuck them. Put it in the back of a car. We can deliver it. It's awesome. DoorDash changed everything.
You ever go back, Pat?
What's that?
You ever go back and look at like these rich guys that before they were uber rich, like money really makes people look a lot better, doesn't it? When you look at Bezos, you see him now, he's like kind of jacked.
Look at Brady.
Elon Musk, check out Elon Musk too, what he was like before. And like they just,
he's an alien.
It's like they figure it out when they get some money.
Well, Tom Brady has changed a bit. You learn different things, how to take care of yourself better. You get your body tested, you know what you're allergic to, what you're not allergic to. And yeah, you're right. He did look like just tech nerd stooge. You know who didn't try to go? Like Bill Gates. I think he's maintained his level of look, through all the wealth.
Yeah, he's looked the exact same for 30 years now, I feel like.
30, 40 years. Warren Buffett, I think he's looked the same for 30, 40 years or so. I get
he's looked the same for 75 years.
Yeah, he's looked the exact same. By the way, he still eats at the same McDonald's. Hey, same order. Same order. He doesn't let the money get to him. Well, why are you making all the money then if you're not going to at least live a little different? Well, I just like to have it. Well, give some away then. It doesn't fucking matter if you're not going to spend it. Anyways, Zuckerberg got all jacked up. He's still wearing the Adidas flip-flops, but I think he got a little bit yoked out there. It's these younger billionaires, they're changing the game, changing science, doing that whole bit.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, look at that change from 98 to 2017.
Bro, 1998, he looked like Steve Jobs, but like the early version of Steve Jobs. 2017, he's Vin Diesel.
Yes. He's like a mixture of Vin Diesel and Pitbull.
He's fucking Dom Toretto meets Mr. Worldwide. And in 1998, looks like a guy you could just smack right in the mouth and his entire body would crumble. That's what happens, though. You know what I mean? You get a couple $100 billion in your bank account. $197.8 billion worth. So much money. Could buy every league, every team. How does he have that much patience? I'll never know. What's he waiting?
Just buy every team he can find.
What's he waiting on? Like, what's he doing? He could buy this Super League 3 times and tell them all to fuck off. Go back to playing in their little towns.
Have you ever seen the Calvin Harris glow up?
Me and Calvin Harris stared at each other eye to eye one time at a Las Vegas club.
Money did that guy pretty well as well.
Yeah, he did get attractive. That's because he got sick beats, though, dude. Sick beats, bro. Sick beats. Who's that?
That's Calvin Harris.
I've never seen the left one. I've only seen the right one. His people have done a great job of burying the left one, too. Is that really? No way.
If you Google, it's not just these two. There's many, many pictures of it together.
No way.
Yes.
Congrats to Calvin, man. You deserve it, dude. You make bangers, pal. You make bangers.
How many years apart are those pictures? Do we know?
I don't know that.
Those are two different humans.
3 years.
What, Jay?
I'm just kidding.
Jesus. All right, let's get to a break. We got Dalvin Cook on the other side. I cannot wait to chat with him. You and Dalvin play against each other ever? No.
No, I think he came in after me.
He's an unbelievable football player. Number 2 rusher last year in the NFL. And he was out.
He's a monster. He's a stud, man. He's awesome. I love watching him. He's physical, too. He's not scared of contact.
He's the chef, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Know what you mean.
What do you want to know about him? What are you going to ask him about?
What do you think? What's some good cliche questions we could ask him?
Well, that's what I'm trying not to ask him.
You sitting out OTAs?
That's what I'm saying. The OTAs, I guess, is something we got to ask him about. I'm assuming he was just.
Do OTAs matter? Like, do they matter to you?
And I think for him, he's going to be like, man, I'm just.
He's a Florida guy, right?
I'm just going to play football, man. Who cares? That's how a lot of people feel, I believe. Because OTAs don't matter. None of it matters. But it's going to be a big deal, I assume, as the weeks go on, especially after the draft when there's really nothing to talk about. We're 20 minutes into hour 3 here on SiriusXM and YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We'll see you in 4 minutes with Dalvin Cook, the chef. Be a friend, tell a friend. Cheers. I'd also potentially taken over their 30 edibles because I thought more teammates of mine were going to want to indulge in that either before the game or after the game. And to get to London, you go through your own TSA here. The team has TSA that you have to check in. Here's my passport. The Colts already have it. They took it all from everybody. It's literally you get your bags checked and then you're through. Put them in a little thing. We're good to go. It's the team's TSA. Get on the bus, fly over there. I forgot all about them. Didn't utilize them at all because how things quickly changed.
Right.
After we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're on the team bus. They go, hey, we're going through Heathrow Airport through the real-life TSA. And at that moment, I look around. I go, oh, no. I have some things in my bag right now that have vitamins in them. I have to get rid of them. And at that point, I'd whittled it down to like 15 of them. And I look at Vinatieri, and I'm like, buddy, not good. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'm just going to throw them away in here. Couldn't do that because right next to the trash can was an English police officer. So I couldn't just walk up and dump a bunch of edibles into the thing next to the guy. He's going to ask questions. We're going to the Heathrow Airport. Now I got to do what I got to do. We finally get there. Police escorts, a lot going on. So I just take down 13 edibles.
Yikes.
See you later. Vinatieri looks at me and goes, how you doing, bub? I was like, good now, but things are about to happen. He goes, I got you, little buddy. I'm like, thank you. So we go through the little check-in thing. And right before we get to the scan of the bags thing, it all hits me. I might as well have been on Cloud 45 over there in London. They check my bag, boom, boom, boom. I get selected. Something was in my bag. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, did I leave a couple in there? Oh my God. Vinatieri starts walking ahead. He turns around, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, they got my bag, man. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So he comes and stands with me. He's like, I got you, bub. I was like, they might got me, for real. I might be staying the night in England. They go through my bag. Turns out, had a vibrating toothbrush. Thing was vibrating in my bag.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it must have been this. Or it must have been my big-ass toothpaste because you can't fly with that. I was like, you got it, pal. I get all the way back to the plane. Lost my ticket somewhere. Somehow I don't have a ticket. So now I got to check into the gate people that I don't have a ticket. I'm like, I'm on this plane. I promise I am, but I don't have a ticket. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Patrick McAfee. The McAfee? No, yeah, whatever you want to call me. I just need a ticket. So now I have to sit there and wait as somebody brings me a ticket from the front while my entire team walks by me, knowing that I'm on Cloud 50, just having a good time. Grigson walks by, just upset, obviously. I wish he would have known that I was in a mood where he should have talked to me there. It was just a nightmare. The London trip for me from beginning to end was not good, and I think that happens for a lot of NFL players.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. We're being joined now by a man who is an absolute stud running back for the Minnesota Vikings. A man who was number 2 in the NFL in rushing last year. I assume he'll be number 1 next year. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Florida State, Dalvin Cook.
Here, Dalvin!
Hey, boy, Dalvin!
What's up?
What are you doing, buddy?
Just chilling, man. Workout this morning. Just relaxing now.
What'd you do during the workout? You run a little bit? Did we lift a little bit? Did we play catch? How was it a full morning? How long are these workouts? What do we got going on?
Yeah, I go 4 days a week. And Wednesday is recovery day for me. So, but Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we on the field in the morning, then we go in the weight room.
Who do you work out with there? Do you have like a personal trainer, or is it a group? I assume you're back in Florida?
Yeah, I'm back home. I'm back in Florida. I work with a guy named Nick. Me, J.K. Dobbins, Motor, all of us. He got a couple running backs, getting some work down here.
Okay, so this is going to lead immediately to this question. AJ Hawk has a question for you as well, but for this first question here to start this whole thing, the topic of conversation in the NFL right now is the OTAs, the virtual, the everything like that. After experiencing the virtual offseason last year, getting to do what you're doing right now, is it going to be difficult, you think, to potentially go back to the old way where you maybe don't get this specialized work with who you have right now? Or what are your feelings on the entire OTA situation?
Yeah, due to the circumstances of, the pandemic and all that, and them still creating the protocols and, getting this thing back rolling, whatever I'm asked upon to do, I'm going to do it. If it's hard to show up, I'm going to show up. If the team, virtually, I'm going to be virtual. Today we had our first virtual meeting, and, everybody was on, and, I think it was pretty productive. Later on the line, we got to lock in more. We don't get to be in person, so you got to pay attention to the details.
I don't know if you've seen these other teams. They're putting out these statements saying like a lot of them, or the majority of their players may sit out of their off-season program. Like, is there much talk with the PA and the players, like individually, on what the plan is moving forward, or at least as a team, like what you're going to do?
Us as the Minnesota Vikings, we haven't had that talk with the PA as players, not from my knowledge, but. As a whole, you see everybody coming together and saying, we're just going to do this thing virtually. So, like I said, whatever, my guys in the NFL, stand for, that's what it is.
Hey, isn't it funny, though, too, that all this is happening? And granted, last year, the ramp-up period, everybody, we had Aaron on the show. Aaron said that's the first time in his entire career where his arm didn't hurt because OTAs go and then there's an off period and then training camp comes. He said he enjoyed actually the ramp-up period, getting to work with his own people. It feels like that's a statement that is coming from a lot of veteran players who've been around. And I can't help but know that this is going to get blown out of proportion because it's the NFLPA, it's the NFL, it changes, is how it goes. But man, OTAs, I mean, this does not matter in the grand scheme of things. I mean, the only thing that matters is the season. Like, how do you maintain the thought, like, okay, I can get better right now, but all this stuff is just dramatic bullshit? Do you just try to block out all the noise and just do whatever the hell you're asked to do?
Yeah, definitely. That's my approach. And you got guys like Aaron that's up in their careers that just need more rest and not more preparation. That they're gonna be ready when they're called upon. But I think, my thing is I like being around my teammates. I like building that continuity early. I think OTAs and things like that, can build that and can start that process. So it's whatever with me and whatever we lean toward, I'm gonna be ready to go.
How you feeling this offseason? Body feel good? What do you think at this stage? Is there anything where you're like, if I get better at this or maybe take advantage of this a little bit more with the game changing? Is there any strategy going in the offseason for you, both as a runner and your physical?
Yeah, this the second offseason that I came out clean, from the season. So I'm able to just get faster, stronger, and work on the things I need to work on. And just as far as, what I need to work on is just being more consistent as a player, as a teammate, and, lead my guys the right way and just having that same mindset every day. I approach the facility or the field.
when someone's trying to coach up a running back, I guess what can they tell you to help? I feel like a lot of playing the running back position, it's instincts. Like you feel where the holes are open up. You know how to set up defenders. Like what can a running back coach do if they want to coach up a young kid in high school and how he can get better?
Yeah, just developing his talent. And I think knowing the talent that the player has, and with me, it was more of I got the instincts. I know I can play the position. I got the vision, the speed, but it's what can make me more better than the guy on the opposite side of me, and that's what my coach always gives me a lot of cheats to runs. Where it's gonna open up at. So I just don't think I react, and that just be the step from a young player to a year 5 player.
Hey, when you carry the ball, you're pretty. I feel like you're pretty. You know what I mean? Like if you're pretty straight up and down whenever you're running. It is, and you're pulling away from people too. Do you have to work on the old, or is this just like a fumbler's a fumbler and a guy who can hold the ball can hold the ball? Is that something you have to work on every single day because the ball is the program? Is that something you got to work on every day, or is that just something you just naturally do now at this point?
Yeah, I got a routine that I'm naturally into, and that's my coach put me in that routine. My running back coach. I work on ball security a lot because, like you said, I run with the ball naturally loose a little bit, so I like to make a play. So that's what comes with making a play is taking care of the football.
Yeah, when I run, by the way, I'm loose with it too. Just while I got 2 runs, had 1 fumble. I mean, my fumble rate, I would argue I was down. I mean, Ed Hockley kind of fucked me there, but it definitely counted as a fumble on my record. What do you have, Diggs?
Dalvin, I don't know if you saw, but this offseasons for everyone's pro days, they were running maybe the fastest 40s of all time. How do you think you would have ran at your pro day if you didn't have to have an official time at the combine?
Actually, that's a good example, for me, because at the combine I ran 4.5 flat, and at pro day I ran in the 4.4. It's like easy, and it was never talked about because my combine time was so important. So, just coming up in this new generation, I guess, it's beneficial a lot for them guys because, once that clock hit, no matter who said it's out there.
How do you feel about the draft process in just the entire thing? You were obviously 2nd round pick. Hindsight, everybody would say like, oh, should have been a very high 1st round draft pick. But going into the draft, and because that's the world we're in right now, and probably a lot of guys who potentially are getting drafted are watching this, what was your mindset going in? Did you have any idea what was going to happen? Did you think it was potentially going to be a long weekend? What were your thoughts?
I actually didn't know, so I prepared for whatever it was for it to come, but it's definitely a long, tiring process. And then once you get to the combine, now it's time to perform. Been getting up at 7 in the morning. Sometimes for the drug test, 5 a.m. And it's just a long week. You're meeting with coaches. They trying to throw curveballs at you to see what you know. So it's just a long week. And I think if you get through it, you could gain a lot of knowledge from it.
Were you surprised at all when you were at the combine or had any of these meetings with coaches and teams, like by some of the dumb questions that they may have asked you? We had a kid on last week who said they asked him, what'd they say, Pat? If
you're the last man on earth, what would you do?
Like anything like that?
Anything like that?
Nah, you just get the repeated questions, and I think that's what the part come in at. Like, oh, it's draining because you're getting the same question from a different team, but in a different form, and you just know it's the same question.
What do you got for the rest of the day? We cooking? It sounded like there was maybe some food being made behind the scenes there. What do we got the rest of the day? Maybe watching some movies, binging, watching film. What do you have?
I'm on meal prep around this time. Just trying to maintain, stay lean a little bit. But rest of the day, I'll probably just chill, play the game, and relax.
You play video games? Which game?
Whatever, Madden, Fortnite. I don't play Call of Duty though.
Why not? Too real? Too serious? You feel like you're actually
sniping?
Yeah,
I think they take it too serious.
Don't want to see somebody's actual head blow up? Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
I can't kill nobody on that.
Madden, are you good?
Good.
Great?
I'm up there with the top NFL players.
Hey, what's his name over there in L.A.? Corner.
Darren James.
Hey, he was unbelievable to watch. Have you played against him?
That's my guy. Yeah, we've been playing since Florida State.
Who wins?
Darren win.
So you're up there, though. You're up there in that conversation. I appreciate you taking time with us. Enjoy OTAs, whether it's virtual or in real life. Can't wait to see you back on the field, man.
Appreciate you, Pat. You too, AJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dalvin Cook, you're the man. And that boy, Dalvin. Man, could you imagine just, what are you going to do today? Well, I'm meal prepped. I just want to get ripped up. I'm going to go play some Madden, beat the shit out of people with myself, by the way, on there. And then tomorrow I'm going to wake up, do a 3-hour workout, do the virtual meal. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to continue to do it. I like that. OTAs are important, though, to build the team camaraderie because it is real. Especially last year, a lot of people talked about how they weren't allowed to eat at the same table as other people. In the locker room, they weren't allowed to hang out, so it really wasn't a thing. OTAs could be something big, but, man, it's going to become a dramatic situation, AJ, like everything.
It's definitely going to be dramatic, but the thing about I think you miss with OTAs, yeah, you have all the on-the-field stuff, which is fun to get out there and compete and do everything with your team. But I don't know about you, but I know in Green Bay, OTAs are the only time of the year when you have like free time to where you're done at 1, 2, maybe noon, 1 o'clock, and that's when guys get together. They play golf, they go on trip, they just get to go hang out. Like that's what you're missing the most.
A lot of golfing during those OTA days. That was when I got down to single-digit handicap. It was awesome. Really? Yeah. It was awesome. I played every day. I mean, every single day.
Do you actually log your scores and everything? So you have like an official handicap?
I did that year. I've never done it again. And I wasn't even the one doing it. Somebody who I was golfing with every day was doing it for us. Oh, we got to log our thing. We got to do our thing. It's like, okay, you let us play for free here? Yep, absolutely. All right. So we just do that all day, every day. We got real good. Same course. Not sure if I could have went to another course and shot as well as I was. I was playing this one course like 6 days a week. I mean, I got pretty fucking good.
When you know, you know.
When I know. And by the way, wide fairways. That place was awesome. But I got really good at golf then because of OTAs. You're 100% right. It is the après OTA that doesn't get talked about. Let's hit some phone calls here. Michael in Albuquerque. What's going on, Michael?
Hey, what's up, Pat?
Just hanging out. How are you, pal? What do you want to talk about?
So I actually have a couple of things.
Here we go.
Is the Pat's up to something? Is that still going to be announced today?
Oh yeah, it's we do have the winner. I have the winner. We do have the winner. $7,500 is going to. It seems like it's a troll account. To be honest, I don't know what to do. Because it was obviously clear that there was one answer that was earlier than the other two answers. There was 3 answers that were answered within the same minute. So I feel kind of bummed for the other 2. The one that was in there first, though, is a troll account. So I don't really know what to do about the whole thing. Michael?
Well, I know that I guessed it correctly. And that was pretty descriptive.
Are you a mustache? Is one of your accounts something's mustache?
No.
Nah, you didn't win. You didn't fucking win. You didn't win.
I mean, there were a lot of people that guessed it.
There was a lot of people that guessed it, but then remember the follow-up was that whoever answers it the earliest is then the winner if there's a tie. And the person that you just search in the thing, and then you go to latest, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. The one that won it it's a burner. It's an Aaron Rodgers mustache account.
Meme account.
It is. It's a meme account or whatever. So I don't know what to do. I'm kind of conflicted on this, but we'll have to figure it out. Unless that was you, Michael, I'm not 100% sure if you're the winner, but I appreciate you participating and having the right answer.
All right. My other question was a special teams question.
He's pissed.
It is very bad.
It's not my fucking fault. Be quicker than the meme account, dude. What do you want me to do? There's fucking rules. We live by them. Giving money away. Sorry, dude. Are you mad at me, Michael? No, you're not mad. Fuck everybody. Everybody's mad
No,
at me.
not at all.
Let's go to Mike in Pittsburgh. What's going on, Mike? Fuck them all.
Hey, shout out to all the shout outs and special shout out to meal prepping. Question for you, Pat.
Shout out.
You're shout out.
Shout out.
Shout it out.
Shout it out.
Shout it out. Have you ever, and would you ever consider being the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Oh, double yoy diner. I could never want to fill in the same role as Myron Cope once held. But boy, what a time it has to be a voice of one of those teams. You know, like whether it's a college team or an NFL team, that has to be a pretty desirable position because everybody loves you around there.
Yeah, you're allowed to be a homer. That's the thing. If you're the official person, like for that team, you're supposed to be a homer. So it would be a lot of fun, I think, to call those games.
Myron Cope For a lot of people that don't know who I'm speaking of, he was the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers basically for a long time during way back, but through some good glory times. He created the terrible towel. He's the one who created the terrible towel. So
Bill Hillgrove's the voice now.
Bill Hillgrove? Mm-hmm. Yeah, down there in Pittsburgh. I mean, you're a hero in Pittsburgh, I assume. You walk into any local establishment, I'd assume IC lights are in a plenty for if you're speaking for the Steelers.
There was once or twice this season, though, that I was driving back from Pittsburgh visiting the family and listening to the game on the radio on the way home. They are incredibly homerish. It's almost tough to listen to.
Really?
It's almost tough to listen to.
Well, that's because you're just a national... now you're a national journalist. You try to keep your biases aside, which I appreciate.
Exactly.
Let's go to Brandon over there in Denver, probably high as hell right now. What do you want to talk about?
Believe it or not, I just did a little vitamin, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I probably assume so.
Pat, AJ, the boys, love you guys. Question is, being in the physical therapy field, what was your favorite or most effective, post-practice, post-game recovery?
I appreciate that, Brandon. I fucking hated the cold tub, but it worked for me. I mean, I used to get in the cold tub. It felt like it flushed my system. AJ, you probably did some weird stuff, didn't you?
No, I just the best recovery for me was to work out. Like always work out the next morning after a game. But I didn't never like cold tubs or anything. I never felt like it gave me any juice back to my legs. So I rarely use it. I use cold tubs and stuff more now than when I played, actually.
Did you use the what are those pressure pants that Kobe Bryant introduced? Basically, those things.
Yeah, those are actually good. I have a set of those.
Of course you do. Are you like a part of the business? I know they rolled out with a few athletes. I assume you.
I paid. I bought them when I was in Green Bay.
Do you put them on still?
I have not in a while, but I know my brother-in-law Brady. I saw some at his house when I was down there sitting by his bed. He still used them a lot.
Wait, why don't you give me those?
How much you want? How much you want to pay?
No, I just want you to give them to me because you forgot.
You don't need them. What do you need them for?
Fucking recovery, dude. Yeah. I'm out there boxing. What do you think this is?
All right, $2,500.
$250.
You're not going to see these, pal.
See how that kind of came full circle there? You know what I mean? What you were trying to do with my fucking aquatic vehicle. Pal.
Straight up trade.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No,
I'll try. Yeah, actually, do it. Good job, Diggs. I will absolutely.
No.
Let's do it.
Nope, not doing it. I know what I paid for that aquatic vehicle. I'm not 100% sure I know what
I'll send somebody down. I'll send somebody down to drive the aquatic vehicle on the highway back to Ohio.
They're going to have short legs. It's very tight in that cockpit. You eat your kneecaps while you're in there. I mean, it is a pretty tight little thing, but you can ride over absolutely anything. Let's go to Nick in Florida. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, Pat, AJ, Tone, how's it going? Happy Monday, happy Bicycle Day, happy early 420.
Oh, happy early 420. That's tomorrow.
Oh, shit. Brandon was on in Denver. Let's keep that train rolling, buddy. Hey, congrats on the SmackDown gig.
Hey, thank you so much, Nick. It was great to be down in your state of Florida there for a couple of days. Hope everything's okay. Hope you're surviving out there.
Real quick, hey, shout out to the city of Jacksonville for bringing back live events. I'll be at the UFC. I'll be at Machine Gun Kelly. Both sold out. Both full capacity.
Listen, Texas, let's have a little bit of respect maybe for Ranger Stadium. Have we got any updates on whether or not they're dead?
Indoor.
Is everybody dead that went to that thing?
Opening day.
Have we talked?
I think so. I think all of them. Yeah, you got them all.
They're dead.
Yeah.
You shouldn't go to this thing, Nick. You should not go to MG.
40,000 dead from opening
Going
day.
the ball.
They're dead?
40,000 dead from
Someone's
opening
suppressing that information, I guess.
Nick, do not go to MGK. Listen, he's a wild boy. Wild boy. Listen.
He is a wild boy. I got to see it.
Yeah, EST. Listen, I'm a big MGK fan, but it sounds is everybody
going to be there for you?
Is everybody dead and went to that Rangers game?
I just Googled it and it's nothing popped up. So
they're not dead.
No.
All right, so let's keep those good vibes rolling.
Hey, don't die after that MGK concert, Nick. We need you to live.
Because then I won't be able to see UFC. That would be terrible.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, shout out to you. We'll make sure you survive this thing. Go in there with a good-ass immune system. What do you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. NXT, you were a big part of that. Now you get to be a main face of SmackDown, WWE.
Welcome, Friday.
Who are a couple of the celebrity guys that you would love to see come into the ring and help keep growing the industry?
AJ Hawk is who I want to see in there. I want to see AJ Hawk run the ropes, maybe hit a couple stunners on some people and have a time of his life. That's who I want to see. I want to see AJ Hawk in there.
I want to see Darren Rovell in there.
I want to see AJ Hawk versus Darren Rovell in there.
Okay.
I think I just evolved my statement. That is exactly what I was. What would you do? You smack him right in the mouth? Is that what you would do?
I would race him in a 40 for sure.
Wow, that's a guaranteed win. It would have to be a decathlon of events if we're just going to do a race at least one. You smacking Ravel right in the mouth?
No, I don't know. I don't think that's my gig, man. You're so good in the ring and doing all that. I don't think that I don't want to say choreographed. I just couldn't make them flow like you can make it flow.
Oh, okay. You couldn't ride the wave, huh? You couldn't ride the wave. I like what you do there. You do spear people, though, at golf courses. Yeah. So
but that's one and done. Like if that's my match, then cool, I could do that once.
Goldberg did that for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
Goldberg,
he was my favorite guy. He was my favorite guy when he was in his run, too.
Yeah, me too. He just came out, speared, how you doing, keep it moving, see you later. There's like been a bunch of behind-the-scenes stories about that, how they would have matches, like full matches with him, and people would get pissed off because they came just to see Goldberg fuck somebody up and get out of there. That could be a little AJ Hawk run. Here's Darren Ravel running the 40 as if it was 90. Not too shabby there. Little knee shuffle there, you know what I mean? Ravel's not supposed to be fast, though. A lot of people judge him for this, and although it does look like maybe the least athletic human being to ever exist, this isn't what he's supposed to be about. You know what I mean, AJ?
I guess he put it out. He was serious, though. This wasn't like a troll thing, right?
Hey, Ravel's always serious. Ravel, that's the thing about Ravel. You know what I mean? Ravel's always serious.
It's like,
go ahead.
That video and what Ravel does is it sucks me in like the whole Triller fight did with Jake Paul and all them, and just the bizarre nature of everything involved. Like what Ravel is that like intriguing to me too, like everything he's doing.
Are you saying that Askren took a dive?
I didn't see. I know you guys think that.
Whoa. Don't put that on me.
Though, I want to say, Mansuri's there. The fight before Jake Paul when the guy didn't even get hit in the side, like a glancing blow, and he laid down like it was a low blow and got carted out of the ring. No one's talking about that.
It's a kidney, dude. What are you talking about?
Low blow right to the hip.
So there was a fake low blow.
Yeah, he got hit in the dick.
Not even hit
his
though.
hip.
It was like it slid by his body. It barely even touched him.
The whole thing was a work.
You can't trust any of those fights that entire night.
Did that guy get the win or not?
I don't know.
Oh, he lost. So he took a fake dive and
contest.
He lost?
In the UFC, the real nut shot, the guy got the win.
Oh, the knee to the dick.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah.
If you guys think Askren took a dive because he was smiling backstage,
I don't think
he
that.
still ate a big shot to the temple.
Yeah, I'm not saying he. Diggs said he took a dive. These people say he took a dive. The internet said it's rigged. I mean, a lot of people saying he took a dive. He did eat a right though from Jake Paul. So did he just say, all right, now's the time. Let's just get knocked out now. Let's get this thing over with. How do you choose? How do you pick and choose when you're going to take the dive, if that is a dive? And also, Jake Paul appeared to be 15 to 20 times better than Ben Askren at all forms of fighting that particular evening.
He got paid to do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he took a dive. I'm not saying he took a dive. I'm not saying the punch wasn't real to the temple. I'm just saying, like, hey, at a minute and a half into this fight, you're gonna fucking drop your hands and you're gonna eat one. Because it looked like he never once fought in his life, and he was in the MMA, like he was a professional fighter.
But he was a striker less than anybody else. Like he dominated.
Yeah, striker, yes, but defense, AJ. He had to play. He had to have some defense.
Yeah, you would think whenever you're wrestling, like when somebody shoots, you would at least be able to read bodies or whatever. It seemed like he just was.
Out of his. I think he's out of his element when he's not allowed to wrestle and grapple the whole time. That's when he's only allowed to use his hands. That's just not his thing.
I'm excited for Jake Paul's. I guess next match is against Tyson Fury's half brother potentially or something like that. That's what I've heard.
Really?
He has beat up people who have limited, or he has wins, but the people he's beat up have been very poor boxers. I think we're going to find out at some point that Jake is a very good boxer, but he just beats the fuck out of all these dudes that look terrible in a boxer.
He's got to fight an actual boxer in order to see that.
But if you're Jake Paul, I'm not fighting an actual boxer, by the way, until I find out whether or not I'm good. I feel like he is.
It's entertainment.
Tommy Fury is his name. He's Tyson's.
Tommy Fury?
Yeah.
When Thomas Fury gets in there, I think we're going to learn a lot about Jake
His
Paul.
first match was against someone who is 10-102-3.
10-100? So he does this for a living. He does what you guys are saying Askren has done for his entire life. Hey, I'll go in there and eat one, dude.
And then the next guy was 0-26-2, and then the guy after that was 2-26.
Jesus. Let's go to Pepe in Mexico. Pepe, what's going on, pal?
Orale, cabrones. Happy Monday, everyone.
Hey, orale, cabrones. How are you?
I'm doing good. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. Sí.
Yeah, good. Good job. Good try.
Thank
hey,
you.
Pat, 3 quick things. I know I'm late to your announcement, but my guess was that you were up to adopt me to get a child credit, and me shaving the beard and changing my name to Pepe Debo McAfee Martinez, but I'm sorry, it's not it.
Oh, okay. It did not hit the thought shop for that to happen, but maybe next. Hey, I'm always up to something. Maybe I'll adopt you, huh? Maybe I adopt Pepe Debo McAfee Martinez. Is that what you said the name would be?
I think it would be. It works.
Yeah, it flows really well off the top. I'll ask the wife. Let me get back to me on that one. What do you want? What else, Pepe?
Hey, with all this football talk and seeing you kick, you said you wanted to play. Hey, why don't you come down here to our Bean Eater League here in Mexico, where people think of Icy Hot, Booze, and Mary Jane? I think it would be perfect fit.
What did you say? What did you say? Say that one more again. I think something very terrible was said in there. Is that right?
No, about football.
Oh,
you
okay.
said playing bad. So
Oh.
why don't you come here to the Mexican League, where you can think of Icy Hot, Booze, and Mary Jane? It would be a perfect fit.
Oh, okay. See, that sounds like a league that I would excel in potentially. I'll bring the Icy Hot. You guys bring, everything else potentially needed in there, and I'm excited for it, Pepe. I'll definitely do that. Maybe that's when I adopt you too, huh? Maybe that's when I adopt you. I go play in the league, adopt you. We kind of knock off the first two things you got here. Excited for see what the third is.
I'm down for it. So now, last good idea, and this is on a serious note.
Okay.
My brother, Static 1217, pitched in. What do you think of having the Alex Smith Award for the Comeback Player of the Year instituted?
Oh, naming the Comeback Player of the Year award, the Alex Smith Award. Now, this would then immediately call into question anybody that has potentially come back from cancer or any other death-defying comebacks. But I think what he accomplished is something that we will remember forever. I don't mind that idea, but I know it would be met immediately with some people that don't necessarily agree with it.
Hey, don't you think there's a better chance they sponsor the award than they actually name it after somebody like Alex Smith? Like, the FedEx Comeback Player of the Year award?
Oh, yeah, and if you want to come back, you shit
Pepsi
with.
Zero Sugar Rookie of the Year.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
Pepsi Zero Sugar, but tastes delicious as if there was sugar inside of it. Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. That was wild, man. He deserved it. Hey, he deserved it, but I'm just saying the naming of it was not necessarily one where Justin Herbert's out there like, I'm incredibly proud to be the Pepsi Zero Sugar, but it doesn't taste as if it has zero sugar. It tastes like it's pretty good, actually, Rookie of the Year. That's kind of tough to do, you know? This Super League thing in Europe is insane, AJ.
So what, they're just picking who they think are the best teams and they're putting them in a league together?
Basically, the teams that have the biggest global imprint marketing-wise have decided to come together to create their own Super League, which would rival against the Champions League. The Champions League is founded of all the best teams in each league. You get a chance to earn your way into that league. Now, with the biggest global marketing footprint, buying your way into your own league, allowing some other people so that big-time mega matchups can definitely happen. And then this kind of ruins, I guess, the entire way soccer has been done professionally in Europe since the beginning of time. 1894 was referenced today at one point.
Big earned, not given situation.
Soccer is? Soccer is an earned, not given sport. Now, this is becoming we'll buy it, and then maybe some people can also attempt to earn to get in here. It tests the depths of the beautiful game's morals.
Well, how did they find a way to make this happen? How did they get the teams on board? I don't know what kind of governing bodies or leagues they have going on. Like, how does it happen?
So FIFA is the governing body, I believe, and FIFA is like the most corrupt place on earth. Like them and the Olympic Committee, I think, have been exposed as, potentially taking their pockets worth of money and making decisions for it. But I think the way they do it Nigel Seeley, shout out to Nigel for joining us earlier, needed somebody with a British accent to talk about that on this show. Yeah. Shout out to Nigel for doing that and explaining it. I think the way they got him is after COVID, a lot of money was lost. They guaranteed everybody a certain amount of billions of dollars, and they're like, cool, we'll do this. Here we go. Then the TV rights for this, because it's all the biggest teams on earth, is just going to be a never-ending, amount of money basically being created by these teams. But then the fallout on the other side is just going to be detrimental against the entire sport of soccer over there.
Is anybody happy about this other than you?
I'm not happy. Whoa. I was.
And now you're not, because it was explained to you what it's doing to the league, so now you've changed your tune?
As new information prevailed inside of my brain and inside of my decision-making process, I realized that I was supporting something that I didn't want to support. I don't like to support. After I understood how the teams can work their way from being a throw-together team, basically, on the street, into the Premier League, into the Champions League. Man City, I guess, was down a league or two in 1999. Now they're one of the premier teams. It's like the relegation and delegation and promotion and demotion of the teams throughout their leagues over there is a vital part of this whole thing. So I'm not all about just pissing on history if it's pretty awesome. It feels like the soccer history has been cool. But with that being said, whenever it's listed, these are the teams that are going to be playing every single week against each other. As a very, lazy fan from the outside, I'm like, hey, that'd be pretty dope to see those teams that I know exist play against each other. But the actual fans are not happy about it. And there's a lot of Americans involved, AJ. A lot of Americans involved.
It seems like people are pretty upset. They have pretty strong feelings for it. But won't this eventually even itself out? If you are a team that's not as good and doesn't deserve to be in that league and you buy your way in, aren't you just going to get blasted?
Yeah, but doesn't matter because you're making your money.
Can you get demoted then back down and someone else can buy their way back in?
So that's a big problem is the founders, they say, are always going to get an advantage over any of the 5 teams that work their way in there, where the Champions League is an ever-evolving group of teams or whatever, So I understand what they got going on. I think internationally, business-wise, the Super League knew they could capture a lot more people with these big names playing against each other. But if you're an actual fan, you probably have to hate it. And I think that's what Nigel explained to us.
Yep.
So I apologize for being on the ignorant global viewer side, which is what I am, and then getting educated about it. I learned it's a terrible thing. AJ, before we sign off here, anything to say to the people on SiriusXM before Chris Mad Dog Russo?
Not big show tomorrow. I know we have some great guests. It's going to be a good Tuesday, especially for you.
Great sign off, AJ. You're 100% right. In 6 minutes, a show that is much better than this one will air. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed is next. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing. Okay, everybody. I got something that I had to wait until we're off Sirius to talk about.
What do you got?
So I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about it. Everybody, it's time for a magic trick, okay? Listen very closely. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Any number is fine. Just visualize it in your head, AJ. Visualize it.
Yep, got it.
Be quiet, please. Everybody needs to focus on visualizing this number in their head. If you're watching, wherever 7. The hell you... AJ, don't tell me the number, please.
Oh, my bad. I got a different one now.
No, now you're telling other people to maybe change their numbers. Do not be distracted.
Do it if you need to. But yeah, I'm sorry.
Just think of the number, fucking AJ, okay? Just think of the number. Focus on it. Look at me. Look at me. You focusing on it?
Yep. What number is it?
Okay. Now that you have the number firmly in your mind, that's where it's going to stay because I'm not a fucking magician.
Oh, dude.
So stupid.
How about it? How about it?
Okay, I thought we were going to.
Classic bait and switch, dude.
I'm over here. I got no idea because AJ said my original number, so I didn't know if I had to change my number.
Just quick thing. I would have said you all were guessing 7, by the way.
Yeah, big fan.
But I'm not an actual magician, so I didn't do that. But I can tell you what you're thinking, but I do know, I can't tell you what you're thinking, but I do know the illusionists of Big Trick Energy are going to blow your mind. Big Trick Energy is a brand new TV show on TruTV that features master magicians and mischievous daredevils using their illusions to shock and awe unsuspecting spectators and each other. Big Trick Energy is pranks meets magic, and these illusionists take things to the extreme to pull off tricks like you've never seen before. The guys from Big Trick Energy will be right here on the Pat McAfee Show this Wednesday at 3 p.m. Really?
Did not know that.
Hey! Didn't know that. All right, we get a little Big Trick Energy here, 3 p.m.
You're going to be there too, H.
Hey, you gonna be here?
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Let's do it.
Of course, don't miss the premiere of the episode Big Trick Energy this Thursday, right after Impractical Jokers at 10:30 p.m. exclusively on TruTV. Big Trick Energy on TruTV. After Impractical Jokers, this live this Wednesday. They're on the show this Wednesday.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, so they're on the show. That thing says they're on the show. All right, so they're on the show Wednesday. The show premieres Thursday, 10:30, exclusively on TruTV. Can't wait to meet the boys of Big Trick Energy.
They better bring magic.
Hey, wait until I.
Oh yeah, you don't have that trick anymore?
What? You always have it. What are you talking about? I got it.
You don't have your special handkerchief that you can use for this?
I don't keep handkerchiefs around anymore. I just use paper towels. But I'll bring the handkerchief back out on Wednesday for sure. I'll fucking tell them Big Trick Energy. This one right here, pal. I was going to do it on an NFL field. Had it in my goddamn hand warmer. Jeez. I love Magic, AJ. I'm a big Magic guy.
I think everyone, like especially in person, Magic is fun to watch when somebody's actually really good.
Well, there's been a couple Magic shows on TV. There was old buddy on TruTV. I forget his name. He had a Magic show where it was like live, candid Magic things.
Chris Angel Mind Freak?
No, that was on A&E, but I did watch that show as well. I also watched Penn and Teller Fool Us. It's on...
one talks, one doesn't?
It's one does still. The big one talks, the other one doesn't. And magicians come in and they try to fool Penn and Teller. And if Penn and Teller gives a response, it's like, I feel like there was a man named blah, blah, blah that might have attempted this years ago. And did we guess what you just did? And the magician's like, yep, you're 100% right. That's exactly what we did. Or, no, that's not what happened. They do a fool. So I'm a big Magic guy, but I can't wait for Big Trick Energy, AJ. Can't wait.
Yeah, Wednesday, 3 o'clock. Hey, they must want the show to go, and it must be pretty good because their lead-in is Impractical Jokers, which they pretty much made that network what it is in TruTV, didn't they?
Well, yeah, and I think the thing about it is this might be the only half hour. I'm assuming Big Trick Energy is a half hour. 23 hours and 30 minutes of televised television programming over there on TruTV is Impractical Jokers. So although it is going on Thursday at 10:30, if that was a Thursday at 3 o'clock, Impractical Jokers would also be leading into that on TruTV. For good reason. Incredible show. Incredible show. I went to one of their live shows, AJ.
My brother did too. How was it?
What's your brother think?
I don't know what he was expecting. He said it was... He said it was good. He said they were working through a bunch of stuff, like they were working on their act that they do on the road.
Yeah, that's right. I love the show.
What are you saying?
The live show is interesting.
I love the show. The live show is interesting.
The live show is interesting.
It was
I
good.
love the show.
You'd recommend we go?
I'd watch the show.
You recommend we go to live
I would
show?
watch
the show.
The TV show, and enjoy the hell out of it. Okay, enjoy the hell out of it. You got great brains on display right there on the TV show. The live show. You know, as soon as I walk in there and I see an 8-year-old, I know it's probably fucking going to be bad for me.
So it's opposite of The Rock. Live show with The Rock, very good. TV show stinks.
Now, listen, Young Rock almost got a mention on SmackDown on Friday night. Andre the Giant Battle Memorial. I almost said, I've learned a lot about Andre the Giant on Young Rock. I mean, The Rock gave this guy a motivational speech when he was 11. That almost just came right out of my mouth there. I was like, all right, am I allowed to talk about Young Rock on this show? I assume they would appreciate that. Yeah. Junior Rock.
Yeah, is Vince is Vince a producer or anything?
Huh?
Is Vince a producer or anything on The Rock's show?
I would assume the WWE has to be relatively involved because all the names are being used for the show. I would assume that is a hand-to-hand thing. Which does that mean that Vince McMahon is automatically vice president when The Rock inevitably runs for president? Oh. Guy's already done deals with Saudi. That never happened before. Fucking Vince comes in. You got a stadium?
Damn it, Putin.
How hot is it? 700 degrees. I'll put on a show. I can't wait to meet him on Friday. How do we think that's going to go?
Awesome.
I think so. I think it's going to go pretty good.
So who was in your ear during SmackDown?
There was. I don't know if I'm necessarily allowed.
What did you have? Did you have more than one?
Yeah, there was like 3 people that popped in there.
Are they pretty active in what they're telling you, or how's that go?
No. They told me, hey, not going to be that active. And then a bunch of blogs hit the internet that they're going to try to not be that active and all this shit. Who knows? I mean, there was a couple things I did where there was like, cat, like, a couple of, ah.
Do you have a talk back like you're doing a game where you can talk strictly just to the booth?
To be honest, I didn't know where the cough button was for the first hour and a half. And that kind of got me a couple times too. You could hear me take a drink one time. I tried to put the thing up. And then Cole looks over at me and he's like, I'm like, oh shit. It's underneath that's on me. I apologize. So I'm not used to this thing either. You know?
Yeah, it's like you're doing a game.
Yeah, I'm not used to it. I mean, I guess I'm going to have to, but if it's too close, I think it's too close, and if it's too far, I can't hear. That's a fickle microphone, the headset microphone. It's because I don't want to sound like I'm, yelling, but also I would like people to hear me. I don't fully know how to operate that thing.
That's for the audio truck to worry about, right?
No, there's actually some great people in the audio that tried to help me out as much as possible, and I still fucked it up, obviously. All right, I'm getting out of here. Hammered Down is in, 36 minutes or so?
Sure.
No, sorry, 56 minutes. Sorry about that. It's just bad math. I do like the fact that you just said, yeah, I'll take it, though. I think it's Aaron Rodgers' mustache was the account that won the 75 hunch, but it's like a fake. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
It's got to be it has to be a person though running that account, doesn't it?
Well, that's what everybody says. Like every catfish picture is somebody real in real life at some point, so it should at least give you a little bit of hope or whatever. I did like 3 searches for it.
Hasn't that person that runs that account, haven't they reached out to you guys and said, hey, I won?
Yeah, that's how I found him, by the way. Here's
they let you know.
So JC Loisel at Big Von Claude. Hashtag Pat's up to something. Commentator for SmackDown is what he says at 107. Sir Reginald Tubesock, the _ Rob something. Pat will be the new color commentator for WWE SmackDown. Okay, here we go. And then Aaron Rodgers mustache burner. Pat is going to be working as commentator for Friday Night SmackDown. So they all had the same answer in the same minute. But Twitter tells us that the first person to answer was this fake account. So I don't know what to do. This is something that we should have expected, obviously, to happen. But here we are staring it down with no clue of who the actual winner is. It's tough.
Well, there's nothing. You didn't say anything in the rules, though, that your account has to look a certain way or be a certain way, did you?
No.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So we're giving it to the Aaron Rodgers mustache.
Seems like it.
Congratulations, Aaron Rodgers mustache. You won $7,500. I think Zito will get with you on figuring out how to get you that money. I appreciate everybody for participating in hashtag Pat's up to something. Hopefully the boys are safe and clear from the COVID. We'll see them in a few days. It's a wild time to be alive. Can't thank you enough for watching. Let's hope some news starts to break here. I think this week is going to suck.
The week before the draft, yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's going to get real quiet here potentially.
Well, pro days and everything have to be done by a certain day this week, right?
Probably.
Yeah, but who could potentially have a pro day that's going to give any?
After today, I guess, Trey Lance is going right now?
Is he throwing right now? How's it going? How's it doing? Do we know? Have we kept up with that?
There was a pretty slow motion ball that I saw.
Spinning?
Yeah.
Kid can spin it?
Yeah.
I might take this week off. I might take the rest of the week off. We got the Big Trick Energy people on Wednesday. Fuck.
Let them do the show for you.
Just come on live at 3 and just have them do their thing.
Or ask them to come on at 12 and just come in studio and do the show for you. Like, I gotta do some wrestling stuff.
Just blame it. I got some stuff to do. You know what I mean?
Vince called. I gotta go.
You know Vincent Kennedy McMahon? Ever heard of him? He called me. That's Big Trick Energy there, pal. I don't know what to do. I don't want to go through another week of staring down the seas of bullshit and just talking that everything is end up going to get debunked just days after days. I'm starting to not enjoy it, AJ.
Well, I think we're in a weird time right now. This lag before the draft to where there's not a whole lot happening out there.
Yeah, there isn't shit. And it's like, do we still do the draft spectacular? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do we? I mean, to do that,
I don't know.
It takes a lot of work. You know what I mean? A lot of things have to happen. Should we do that? And then if I take off, I don't know. I might just take off the next month and just come back and see if anybody. I don't know. It's wearing on me, man. Everything's starting to wear on me. I think I'm done with it.
Why? Did you take on too much with this SmackDown gig?
No, the SmackDown thing was actually a lot of fucking fun. That's literally all I thought was like, oh, this is a blast. I'm having a great time. I don't have to worry about something coming out of my mouth being completely bullshit because somebody misled me the wrong direction, and then I'm gonna have to answer for it to everybody. You know what? But I guess that's his game. I guess that's how this game.
You don't have to answer for, even if you say something that turns out that it's not 100% true, that you heard from somebody else. You don't stand up and like declare things that you know are facts and then it comes out as complete garbage. You don't do that.
Yeah, but I don't love being a part of some bullshit that gets spread, you know? And Trent Dilfer, what he said to me really struck home, you know? He was like, he stared at me through the FaceTime. You are a prime target for misinformation, pal. And I'm like, Jesus, Trent. I mean, did we just get real there for a second? It felt like that got a little bit too real, pal. You know what I mean?
But also at the same time, you're a prime target for legit, real information that somebody wants to get out.
Well, that hasn't been happening. I mean, ain't nobody been.
So what are you going to do this afternoon?
I don't know, man. Probably go work out, hopefully, I guess. Maybe clear the mind a little bit, listen to some music, smoke a little bit, hang out with the wife.
Why don't you go play golf?
Too long. Who's got time? I
You
guess
probably hit some balls in the backyard.
I will hit some. I hit 3 balls yesterday in the backyard. Went better than it did on the golf course the other day when I quit golf.
I mean, I would love to watch you try to get through 18 holes of golf, but I want to see you play 18 holes of golf in a charity golf event where you're paired up with 4 random people.
No, it won't happen. Like, it just won't happen. That just won't. Why would you want to see that? Why would you?
And they tell you, you're like, okay, cool. It's a 5-some. I'm the 5th person, so I'll have my own cart. They're like, oh no, you get to ride with Bill.
Actually, Bill paid extra so you would ride with him. Oh, great. So I got to ride too. That's great because I love riding. That is just in life and on a golf cart. Yeah, this is fantastic.
And I bet all of them would give you advice too on how to swing as well. So.
Geez, hey, pal, don't fucking need to hear it. Yeah.
I get that a bunch. Hey, man, when you kind of fall away, you're really leaving some yardage out there. I'm like, thanks, bud. I'm trying not to hit it 6 miles in the woods.
Thanks, pal. I mean, are we going to change this in the next 18 holes? No. All right, so just pipe down. All right, I wish I could do what you're doing right now.
Hey, real quick before you go, did you see Mario Lopez at all during the Triller event?
I saw him come in and talk a little shit to De La Hoya, or De La Hoya talk shit to him. I think De La Hoya said, don't ask Mario, I think is what he said, actually. He looked good, though, didn't he?
It was just so funny, like how they would transition from musical acts to this to that. Like Mario, one time he was standing there with Snoop at the bar, I believe, at Snoop's uncle's bar they had set up, and Mario was like, he didn't want to say that they were smoking weed. He's like, oh, it's fun. We got some drinks flowing. We got some, and he like paused. He's like, there's some, to be honest, some smoking going on. I'm like, Snoop's been smoking on camera for 5 straight hours, Mario. Like, don't be scared to say
5 straight hours. You mean like 5 straight decades at this point? I mean,
But for the whole event, like it was a very prominent piece of the event.
Oh, City of Lies, worth a watch.
What is it? I've never heard of it.
Johnny Depp plays a cop and a detective, basically, who got silenced by the LAPD about the murdering of Biggie Smalls.
Oh. When did this come out?
Biggie Smalls' mom actually is in the movie. She's actually in the movie to legitimize basically the entire thing. Great movie. My wife and I stumbled upon it this weekend because we watched The Courier, which was about it was Mr. Benjamin Mustardback.
Benny Mustyback.
Benny Mustard Hatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
There it is. Benjamin Cumberbatch.
I had no idea where you were going with that.
Well, I did, but to be clear, I did not know what his last name was. I knew what it sounded like, though, and it's Mustard Batch. What is it?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch plays a businessman from England turned potential espionage, and it was a very good movie as well with Russia and this whole thing. And it was a good movie, and then as soon as that movie ended, there were like other movies you could potentially watch, and this one with Johnny Depp being a cop, City of Lies, and we clicked on it. It was like, the murders of Biggie and Tupac are still unsolved. And I was like, holy fuck, what is this? Unbelievable movie. And there's a couple people who did not like the movie. There's a couple people that did not like the movie. And it would be probably the 3 people that they very clearly say this person killed Notorious B.I.G. in that movie. Very clearly say this person did it.
Oh, so they actually tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Who killed him.
And how and everything like that. And I guess it was supposed to get released years ago, and then it got delayed. I think it just recently came out. It very clearly says, bing, pow, boom. And here's the reasons why.
Is that person still alive?
I didn't do the research. It's numerous people. But
okay. Are they famous people that people like we would know their names?
No, we would not know them. But there are some people that were in power that potentially died, and then this comes out afterwards, if that makes sense.
Did you like Ben Cumberbatch?
Yeah, I thought he was really good.
Have you seen The Imitation Game, where it's World War II and he builds a supercomputer, like the world's first computer to crack the German Enigma code, and that's basically how the war was won?
So he's just in all these like espionage British folks movies. He's the go-to. Hey, we got a British spy? Yup, give me the mustard batch. That's basically what The Courier was really good. I fell asleep in the middle of it, but I caught right back up to what was going on. It was very, very good. Same with the City of Lies. I'd recommend it.
Hey, didn't that guy play Stephen Hawking in the movie a while ago?
He may have.
The genius guy that was in a wheelchair?
I thought Bryan Cranston played him.
I don't know. Maybe he did at some point.
I mean, he's Doctor Strange, if that's what you're talking about.
The guy that throws the little circle thing?
Yeah.
The little lasso of time?
Yeah.
That's Mr. Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, for me, he was just a guy that relayed information from Russia.
Cumberbatch did play Hawking in some movie called Hawking in 2004.
Oh.
How about that, AJ? How about Cranston? Did Cranston play Hawking as well?
No, he did play in a wheelchair, but it was like a movie with
people were pissed about it.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
Yeah, people were very mad that he was playing a guy in a wheelchair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's actual people in wheelchairs
Cast.
that are actors
Yeah.
that are saying, like, we could do this.
Oh, okay. Hey, I haven't seen the movie.
The one with him and Kevin Hart?
No. What's it called? You'll get it.
I think I am. You
The
think
random things that you do remember compared to the things you don't.
It's
Just
called
blow
the
my
It
mind.
was called The Upside. It was called The Upside.
Nailed it. Got it.
Oh,
right
never
here.
heard of it. Yeah.
What do you mean?
But it was just told in my ear. But I think I would have been able to pull it out because I see the title of the DVD with the picture with Kevin smiling and Brian. I was trying to piece my way around the cover art of that thing to get up to the title. That's kind of how the brain operates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. You see in pictures. You have a photographic memory.
Me and Mac Jones. How about that?
And Justin Fields.
I think Mac may go to the Niners, man.
The fucking sports books say differently. Did you see that odds thing? 5 days, they've completely changed. Justin Fields.
Where are they getting their info?
I don't know. You tell me. They always have info, though. They always seem to have info. Their info has changed mightily in the last 5 days, and will it change more even today? This is FanDuel. Minus 270 Mac Jones 5 days ago. Now Mac Jones is plus 180, so you're getting a bang for your buck. So if you like Mac Jones at 3 overall, go ahead and bet on it on FanDuel, AJ.
Okay. When FanDuel gets to Ohio, I can do that. But do you think Trey Lance bumps up and gets better odds after today?
Yeah, if there's a picture that surfaces of him and Shanahan having a nice little laugh like the Justin Fields Shanahan thing, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hopefully there is a picture. Hopefully Shanahan's doing that just to troll everybody. He goes to every pro day he can and find every quarterback and get a picture with
Arm over the shoulder. One of those with his mask down, laughing, flat bill hat because he's so cool. Just trolling with everybody. Who knows, you think? Lynch? You think Lynch and Shanahan know? You think they know it all, or you think there's still questions? Why would you go all the way up to 3 if you didn't know, is what people will ask.
I heard a friend of the show, Michael Lombardi, talking this weekend or last weekend, and he said the Shanahans, plural, will be making this decision on the pick.
Michael Shanahan's getting
Apparently
involved?
he's an advisor, I think, with the Niners right now.
Is he out in North Dakota or no?
Great question. Don't know.
Fucking Mike. Imagine Mike Shanahan would have showed up at that Columbus, Ohio second pro day for fucking Fields, and General Bob Carpenter's potentially in the building. Like, Mile High guys here.
Mile High guy.
It's crazy. All right, I'm going to get out of here.
Have a good day. Have a great afternoon. Drive that thing into the pond. I want to see it. Take some video of that. I'd like to see that.
I don't have a pond anymore.
Go to someone else's pond. I'm sure there's one close.
Hey, you care if I drive us into your pond real quick?
It's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough ask, I think.
No, it's not. They would love it. Their kids will come out. They'll all film it. You can post it. It'll be awesome.
I had a conversation with my neighbors this weekend, by the way.
What, after he sold you a lawnmower or something?
No. That's a previous neighbor. Remember, that's a different house, pal. Different house.
I figured the next neighbors, they see you move in, they're like, yep, here we go. And they start polishing up all their toys.
They haven't thought of it yet. And maybe today will leave them that. It was a good conversation. I should go chat with my neighbors a little bit more. How you doing? Hey, good to see you. They gave me a
How'd it happen? I
was walking the dogs on a property all by myself. I had no Twitter. I had nothing. I was just walking around by myself aimlessly like a guy in a movie about his life being lost.
And you saw your neighbor and you actually decided to say hello?
Neighbor came to
How nervous were you as he was walking towards you?
Yeah, but I was like, all right, here we go. Gonna have a conversation with the neighbor. I hadn't met this man before. He's a good guy, nice guy. I hadn't met him before. I haven't talked to him in maybe a year or two or whatever. But he's a nice guy, good guy. It was a nice conversation. Got a chance to learn a little bit about the neighborhood quickly.
Oh, nice.
Quick in and out. Dog said hello. Dog said hi. It was a good little convo. It was a nice little convo. Then walked home.
Good. That's good for you. I think it's good for you to talk to your neighbors, talk to some people outside of the weird world you live in.
That's becoming an issue, I think, by the way, is because I'll get dropped into a world outside of where I live, and I'm like, oh my, is this what the world is? Is this really what it is? Yeah, this is what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna go get back into my fucking shell. I don't know if this is how this is supposed to go. A lot has changed since I was somebody who bebopped out and around. You know what I mean?
I think everyone is a bit weary of that with COVID. Everyone feels a little different, don't you think?
Are
Especially
you?
not
You
if
see
you're
people.
scared, but
You see people, huh? Your kids' stuff. You see people.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be outdoors in a mask watching them play soccer or football or whatever. But yeah, I see people. You don't get to interact really. It's weird because you have, like, if you have kids teams, usually you're friends with all the parents and everything. But my kids are on different teams right now, and it's hard to even meet the parents or hang out, even though you see them at games all the time, just because you can't really interact too much.
I don't really see people much. That's something I would like to change.
You do, but when you see people, it's always like elevated crazy events, like going down to the WWE, or obviously you see the boys every day and everything like that, but it's never like, you don't just randomly see a guy that works in a cubicle and watches your show.
No, it would be nice to. I would like to. We're going to take this thing on the road at some point. I've checked in with different states and places. I want to go meet the people that watch this show for whatever. I want to see, what the fuck are you doing? Why do you watch this show? Let's talk about what you got going on here in person. I have looked into that. So I think we're gonna do it at some point, but I don't really see people ever. It's kind of it was a bummer, to be honest, whenever I started thinking about that the other day. It was a little bit of I was deep in my thoughts. I was like, I don't fucking see people ever.
I mean, hey, believe me, I get accused of that all the time. Like, oh, you don't like lose. AJ doesn't want to leave the house ever. I'm like, yeah, yep, got it. You nailed it. I built a house. I built the house that I want to stay in. So why would I leave all the time? Like,
that's exactly why I got the house I got. I was like, I could be in here all the time if I have to, but you miss I guess that's quarantine's what happened, but also life and everything has happened as well, which I'm kind of bummed about.
Hey, open the pool up soon, man.
I don't like. I mean, I will, but it won't get used. I mean, who gives a fuck about it?
Just like everything else.
Literally, except for the golf mat that's in the backyard there. That thing gets used.
Do you not want to take divots out of your 40-acre yard?
No, the only hill in Indiana is right in my backyard. So it's like I have unless I go.
The bottom of that hill is where you have those sinkholes that pop up, right?
Bingo, it's on a floodplain, yeah. So I gotta balance it.
Maybe dig a big old pond so then you can drive the old vehicle into that pond.
Bro, but taking care of a pond is not easy either. People, you got to take care of a pond. It's not like I had a pond, the thing almost broke. Like the whole pond almost broke. I had to get I had some sort of, not allergies, less something. Algae. There was a bunch of algae. There's some sort of algae in there that was fucking ruining things. A dead fish showing up. It was like, what the fuck? I can't even have a pond.
Sounds like that giant containment deal in Tampa that's leaking toxic chemicals out there. I don't know if they've stopped it yet or not.
Yeah, we had to search for that. That is on a different side of Tampa, thank God, from where we are. They had to evacuate. They had to evacuate people.
Well, I read the headline, then I look into it. I'm like, oh, so this thing had been sitting there for however many of these huge containment ponds for just hazardous chemicals and things have been sitting there for like 30 years, and they never knew what to do with it. And people have been saying something's going to happen, and something did happen.
You see, what had happened was we just assumed that these would just sit here forever and there wouldn't be any leaking or anything like that. Yeah, they're talking about the amount that's dumping out of that shit too, I guess, is pretty harmful. I guess it's a pretty harmful amount or whatever. We had to look into it for the Tampa trip,
To see where you're going to stay or what?
Yeah, because they were evacuating people and it was like, we're supposed to go down there in 2 days, make a pretty big announcement. Are we allowed to? It's like, oh, it's a different part of Tampa. I've learned Tampa, by the way. Listen, Champa Bay, okay, a lot of winning. The weather's great. That place might be the most poorly designed city I've ever been in my entire life. Poorly.
What's wrong?
You're driving in circles at all times. You're driving in circles. It should be called, now Indianapolis is known as like the Circle City or whatever because downtown's a circle or whatever. To drive around Tampa, you are one blink away from getting sent into the wrong fucking circle to go into another almost world somewhere else.
Crazy straws, Rose.
Oh, it's insane.
There was a million forks in the road.
A million.
So many forks in the road, and you got to hit it.
And then it's like the one fork, and then you go through like a circle, and then there's another one that just drops off of there. You're like, oh shit, I got to get over it. It is, and then you got Florida drivers there, so you just go ahead and compound the whole thing. But it's a beautiful place, but the road navigation is a nightmare. I've never experienced anything like it.
Yeah, if only. I mean, I think it would go much better if you use your left foot on the brake.
All right, well, that's the show.
It's a show. That's it.
What's that?
Nothing.
Have you tried to drive with 1 foot since this whole fucking bullshit happened?
I have. Honestly, I think this morning. after I dropped my kids off, I tried to do just the 1 foot. I was like, this is so stupid and inefficient. Why would I ever try this?
All right, I'm going to drive 2-footed back home. You hear about a crash in Indiana? It's because of you.
It's okay. On my bad, I thought you were a superior athlete.
I've never said that.
I think so. I've watched you in action. I think you could do it.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Film it. Set your phone up and film just your feet.
Well, then the phone will fall down underneath the thing, and it'll get blocked into the thing, and then my left foot will do the thing, and it just doesn't sound like it's the right move.
All right. We'll see.
What are you doing this afternoon? Anything stupid? You got to be a parent?
Yep, got to be a parent. No one's knocking on the door yet, so that's all right. That's good. But, practices and stuff.
What'd you tell Axel? Chill out, dude?
Yeah, I mean, he's 3.5, and he's a Neanderthal, so he didn't really get it exactly, but, yeah.
Is he a barbarian out there?
I mean, it's 3.5. We haven't cut his hair yet. Everyone thinks he's a girl all the time, but he looks. Yeah, he's the fourth kid, man. So he's had to survive, and that's what he does.
I think Axel's my favorite.
Yeah, he's on his own plan, man. That dude is physical, wants to punch, wants to wrestle. If you even entertain the idea that you're going to wrestle with him, the guy just lights up and will just charge you.
Oh, so he's going to be a stud, huh?
I don't know. He's going to be in jail or he's going to do something.
Oh, okay, good. Dad of the year. Let's keep him out of jail. Let's get him in the NFL. AJ, thank you. To all the boys, thank you. To everybody watching, cheers. Congrats to the Aaron Rodgers mustache. I might take the next month off. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to go think about it.
Hey, Big Trick Energy coming in hot. Going to host the show.
What if Big Trick Energy is the reason why I don't? What a fucking show.
Awesome.
Dude, this is the worst. All right.
What if he came in tomorrow, though, real quick? Came in tomorrow and there's just 4 dudes holding cards starting the show at noon.
I would say let's go. I think I've seen all these tricks. Let's go for it. Whenever you get some really good card magician, though, like John Dorenbos. I love watching John Dorenbos do work. Love watching Dorenbos. He reignited my love for magic in golf outing in New Mexico. I've told the story. They're like, hey, go see John in there. He's doing magic. It's like, I'm not a fucking 10-year-old. Right? And then I go in there, and for 2 hours, I was just sitting watching him just fucking do these amazing things. I was like, you're the best, dude. Oh, my God, you are so good. Thank you, thank you. Oh, by the way, look under your fucking shoe or whatever. It's like, God damn, how'd you get an ace there? What? Has this been here all night, or is it just because I'm drunk? Well, I moved it there with my mind. Okay, fuck you, you didn't, but you did trick me, so I respect it.
Yeah, you pretty much laid out what a good magician will do. Right there.
Wait till you guys see Big Trick Energy Wednesday, 3 o'clock, right here. YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Be a friend, tell a friend. Tomorrow's show is probably going to stink. Okay, there's going to be nothing to talk about. It's going to be tough, so don't tell anybody to listen tomorrow. But Wednesday, 3, please tell some people.
Definitely Wednesday, 3.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be good. Tomorrow's going to be a big show.
It's not.
I can feel it.
It's going to stink.
No, it's going to be great. Diggs is going to bring a bunch of juice. He's going to have a good
AJ,
episode of Hammer Down.
How should I feel about not getting invited to a birthday party here? Is that
what this is? Is that what this is about?
A lot. I mean, it's led me to a lot of deeper thinking. You know what I mean? Like, it has led me to a lot of deeper thinking. Because all I do is work and go home. Work, go home. Go somewhere to work, go home. Work, go home. Work, go home. You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm feeling like one of those little kids on the social dilemma when they see a photo of everybody that they thought they were friends with at a place. It's like, oh my God, I'm like a 16-year-old. I shouldn't be upset about this. I shouldn't be upset about this. Don't be upset about this. Don't be upset about this. And I'm like, I don't really have any friends, though. Then you start going, well, I don't really do anything. And then you start going through the whole thing. It was a long weekend. It was a long, long weekend, I will say. And if I end up with COVID, just make it the worst fucking weekend of all time.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. That's a real thing. People like kids have to deal with, which I can't imagine. They call it like online bullying or cyberbullying. Like, I don't know what that is exactly, but I know if you're a kid, I can imagine my daughter whenever she has a phone, if she's in high school, and a lot of her friends she's looking at pictures online of them at some party of like everybody she knows and all of her friends. And she's like, oh, cool. I guess that my invite got lost in the mail. My email didn't come through. Like, I can see how that'd be tough for a kid, but obviously an adult too.
Yeah, we got to be a fucking adult. Like, this is what I've been talking. This has been my entire thing all weekend. It's like, be a fucking adult. It's like, well, fuck those people, actually. Then it's like a bounce back and forth, and it's.
But would you have wanted to go? Would you have felt obligated to go, or are you just upset that you don't think you were invited?
I would have went. This is something I would have went to because I think it was a big deal. But I do not get invited to a lot of things because everybody assumes I won't go because I am a homebody. So I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't get invited to places. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. This one though was literally every human in my orbit. It was like, that's kind of fucked up, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of. But then I'm like, wait, are you being a little bitch right now? Like, don't be a little bitch. And then obviously me and my wife get very high, and I start thinking about everything and.
What does she think?
I must cancel the show. I must cancel the whole show. It's like, I don't want to make money with these
You don't need
people.
anything drastic like that. I would assume the only reason you weren't there is because you got back at 2 a.m. from SmackDown and everyone knows, like, hey, this dude's schedule is unreal.
People that were there with me were there, so it's not really like that.
What does your wife think?
My wife just has to deal with me, you know what I mean? Like, I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad for her. She wasn't invited either, though, so she kind of fucking felt a little bummed out as well. So it's like, it's like two of us were like, yeah, but we're both homebodies. We don't really like to do things.
Yeah. I don't know. How are you going to work it out with everybody?
I don't know. I honestly don't know how. I mean, let's hope they don't have COVID first. If COVID comes in, it's going to be very difficult to, get along. But I felt like a teenage douche. And, people probably view that of me a lot anyways, but it was very difficult. It was very tough for me. This was a tough weekend for me. My Twitter was broken, so I had no outlet. Okay, I couldn't even tweet or view or follow along with what was going on in the world. Thank God to Jake Paul and Ben Askren give me a little something to watch. And then Sunday was just a long day of me and my feelings and thoughts. And then this morning, it's like, well, what if I get COVID too? This is going to be a whole nother fucking problem. So I don't know, man. I'm in an interesting spot. This show maybe continues, maybe doesn't. Hopefully it'll do well.
You were coming off like one of the highest highs, though, where you realized one of your dreams and you got hired to do something that you might do for the next 40 years. And then, bam, you come home and you feel that. So I guess it's very understandable, I guess, how you could be like, man, this is weird. Like, how do I figure this out?
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
I think you'll be good. I do. Go work out, get on the climber. Post it, let everybody know. Then you'll say you're up to something again. You will start this all over again.
I am up to something, by the way. What is the something this time?
We know you're definitely up to something.
I don't know. I was bummed out. It was a long weekend. Thank you all for watching. I'm sure tomorrow's show will be better. Thanks for being a sounding board there, AJ. I appreciate you.
Hey, I'm here, man. I know it's good. I think it's good for anybody to see you talk about how you feel, because viewing you from people that are fans of you, just like this dude. Is this guy the happiest, most positive, awesome dude? Like, does Pat ever have even a rough patch or a bad day? Everybody has issues. Everyone has things that messes with them. So I think it's great when you put it out there. Everyone's like, yeah, of course. I've had situations like that.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be the face of people that do that. I think a lot of people have enough shit in their life. So I'm just coming in to be the dancing clown. But please know that we're all going through something, obviously. It's just how you view it. And a lot of people, it's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity and blah, blah, blah. I believe a lot of that with a lot of things. This one was tough this weekend. I'm going to be honest. I had a tough weekend, had a tough morning this morning. Let's hope I don't have COVID either, because that would take away something I've dreamed about forever as well. It's just tough spot. Maybe we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe not. Maybe a couple weeks off. Who knows? I think that's a great way to stand it, or leave it standing there. Cheers to everybody. You're the best. Thanks for watching a very below average show today. We'll be back manana. See ya.